Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 6 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I am Brian Wilson. I am your friend and radio buddy, and I am glad to be back in the saddle. Again, thanks yesterday to Matt Murphy for filling in while I had to go to see the Dermy doc. Oh, yeah, you know about that, don't you? There's people get of a certain age, and you got to spend a lot of time with the Dermy doc. For that reason, because I'm still bandaged up and a little swollen, and I have a little bit of a black eye. I mean, to tell you, they worked me over yesterday. No, they did a great job. I had a fabulous doctor. She was phenomenal. But I am a little bruised and battered because of the experience, and so you won't be seeing my image today on Super Talk TV. You'll be seeing a freeze frame.
It's your image, but it's just not a live image.
It's my image. It's just not a live image. That's right. Yeah. And I'll be back to normal here, but in just a few more days. So everybody bear with me while we go through this insanity that we have to do when we get to be a certain age. And please use your sunscreen. Okay, that's all I'm going to say to you. Use your sunscreen. Don't be like me. We didn't know any better, but I mean, still, you save yourself a lot of trouble down the pike. Just put on some sunblock. All right, would you? All right, enough about that. By the way, speaking of summer and sun, we're going to be hitting later in this hour the official arrival at summer at 3:51.
That's right.
We will stop and commemorate it in some radio style. I don't know what we're going to be doing yet, but we'll do something because, it's the longest day of the year. Longest, everybody said, well, it's not either. All days have 24 hours. I say, well, come on now. It's the longest daylight of period within a 24-hour period of the entire year. And so, we will stop and commemorate the arrival of summer, which actually arrived here in Middle Tennessee about a week ago. It's 90 degrees right now. All right, let's get into our 2024 update because we got a lot of stuff here. A lot of people have been saying, and I'm one of them. I just can't imagine that the Democrats are going to stick with Biden all the way through the process. Now, every day that he hangs in there is a day where it's more difficult for Democrats to make a change. But let's say that we have this debate next week, and it's a horrible debate for Joe Biden. And given his more recent appearances, you could wonder if he's up for the task. I mean, did you catch this one the other day?
My name's Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband. Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way.
Wow. I mean, honestly, that one's weird.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Because seriously, I mean, when you can't remember the name of your Secretary of Homeland Security,
Secretary, I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way.
I'm not sure.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband.
I put
Thanks
it on
to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way.
I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way. Oh, that happened. And you can wonder when you have things like that happen, if he has a moment like that when he's on the debate stage, well, what are Democrats going to do? Well, the Daily Mail has come up with some kind of scenario. They've been talking to Democrats about all this, and I thought it'd be interesting to share their thoughts on how it might all go down. You ready? Seems no matter how much cold water the Biden campaign or the Democrat Party throw on this raging fire of speculation, Americans will not be put off the great Joe Biden replacement theory. It is the idea that somehow, some way, the president will be swapped out as the Democrat Party's candidate ahead of the 2024 election. Dropping out would be a big risk, but there's some threshold below which continuing to run is a bigger risk, polling guru Nate Silver wrote on social media last week. Are we there yet? I don't know, he said, but it is more than fair to ask that question. According to Democratic bigwig, Obama campaign guru David Axelrod, the Biden team scheduled one of the earliest presidential debates in history to prove to naysayers that Joe is not going anywhere. But the gambit carries tremendous risk. While an efficient debate performance by Biden could help rally Democrats behind him, a significant misstep would only stoke more replacement chatter. Former Clinton advisor and polling expert Mark Penn suggested the CNN debate will be Biden's last chance to reassure voters that he's fit for the job. They have deliberately thrown down the gauntlet for an early debate, Penn said. I think that's going to be the point at which Americans judge, is he ready for another term or not? Now, the Daily Mail has learned that if Joe stumbles in that first face-off with Trump, or his polling numbers keep falling, it will take a united front of the liberal grandees to make Joe throw in the towel. The only people who could force him out would be Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer. One Democrat strategist told thedailymail.com. It would have to be all four of them collectively, and the process would be high risk. Some party insiders concede that the candidate swap could work if everything was carefully planned and executed. Political columnist Joe Klein theorized in a recent newsletter that if Biden were to stand down, a vigorous young candidate, don't ask me who, would win over the country with a single convention speech in August. In a Klein scenario, the Democrat Party would deliver an Obama-esque inspirational speech akin to Barack's famous 2004 Democrat convention address that would quickly bring together disaffected Democrats and moderate independents. Plus, Klein wrote, the Democrat Party's prodigious dislike of Trump would unite any disaffected factions behind a new nominee. However, there's another potential complication. This is a really well thought out story. As the recognized leader of the Democrat Party, a stubborn Biden could refuse to step down and fight on to Election Day, even as the party grows more exasperated with his performance. Biden is fiercely proud of his first-term accomplishments, which he dubiously boasts are more significant than any other modern president's triumphs. Though, to be fair, Biden was the one who won the election in 2020. Additionally, while Biden respects former House Speaker Pelosi, Bill Clinton, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, his growing resentment of Obama has become painfully clear. Didn't seem that way the other day, but who knows? The former president famously backed Hillary in 2016 over Biden and even reportedly tried to stop his vice president from running in 2020. Ironically, both Barack and Michelle Obama appear to have intentionally kept their distance from the Biden White House, at least officially, knowing that their public appearances trigger nostalgia for the days when voters liked their nominees. Barack Obama made a brief appearance at the White House state dinner for the Kenyan president in late May. Michelle was nowhere in sight. Ms. Obama, who has no close personal feelings for the Bidens, according to one well-connected Democrat source, flat out ignored the invitation. It goes on. The Democrat Party machine is now elected to hold an online nomination to complete with a virtual roll call to formally select Biden as their nominee at the DNC convention in Chicago, ahead of the DNC convention in Chicago in mid-August. And they're going to do that so that they can actually make the ballot in Ohio. They have to do it a virtual nomination, because otherwise he won't be on the ballot in Ohio because of the deadlines in Ohio. Part of the reason to go virtual is to ensure a more controlled process should the party decide at that virtual convention to select a replacement candidate. Isn't that interesting? In that case, top Democrat leaders would quietly draft the substitute nominee in advance. And that person would not be Vice President Kamala Harris, according to sources who observed that Harris has already had to fend off a push to replace her on the ticket. It doesn't just become Kamala. Kamala only becomes the nominee if Biden dies, one blunt consultant said. Skipping ahead a little bit, strategists theorized that Democrats would have to hold a public event to symbolically transfer power to the new candidate. Biden, Obama, Clinton, Schumer, and Pelosi would all publicly introduce and endorse the anointed nominee. They would also have to convince Harris to throw her support behind the substitute, which would be a painful experience for someone who's fiercely protective of their political future. All Democrats may have some painful decisions ahead, the Daily Mail writes. Biden has said that American democracy is on the line in the 2024 election. If his party becomes convinced that he'll lose, they'll feel compelled to take drastic, perhaps even unimaginable action. So there it is, laid out by the Daily Mail. I have a slightly different scenario. I mean, all of that seems to make sense to me. It looks like there are some points, major points, where the process could, be changed. The key, of course, is that Biden already has secured enough delegates to be the nominee. So he's got to be convinced to step down. And if he says he's not stepping down and he puts his back into it, then I think they're gonna ride that horse right all the way to November. But if he can be convinced by the party, as they said, grandees, Obama, Pelosi, Schumer, I'm sorry, Joe, that debate performance on the 27th was a complete disaster. So you're just going to have to, make a decision. I have to get Jill on board. And then my only difference is how they handle Kamala. I think that there's another scenario for Kamala. To get Kamala out of the way, and honestly, having this debate on the 27th of June, next week, that will coincide with something else. And that will be the end of the Supreme Court term at the end of June. Right around that time, the Supreme Court wraps up. And it's usually at that point where if somebody's going to turn in their resignation, Sonia Sotomayor perhaps, then it would happen then. And a lot of pressure on Sonia Sotomayor to turn in her resignation because they don't want another Ruth Bader Ginsburg where the Republicans, if they take the White House, would get to choose the next Supreme Court nominee should somebody, falter or fail or need to retire for other health reasons. They don't want to have a Republican replace Sonia Sotomayor. That would make it a 7-2 high court. That would be too much for the Democrats. So I expect that Sonia Sotomayor is going to step down at the end of this term. And then what that means is the Democrats will push through something very quickly. But I think they might offer that to Kamala. Look, Kamala, you're a problem for us. She's a problem for two reasons. Number one reason is she's very unpopular. And a lot of people are going to be looking and saying, well, I would vote for Joe if I knew we had a good backup, but we don't have a good backup. We got Kamala. The other thing is that, if she were to take on that nomination, it wouldn't change the balance of the high court. And it would be something, it's not nothing to be a Supreme Court justice with a job for life until you're ready to step down. It's not nothing. It's pretty significant. So you wonder, exactly would they offer her the Supreme Court so that then they could find another running mate for Joe? Now, that's another alternative. You get a strong running mate. It alleviates a lot of the concerns because everybody can say, yeah, I'll vote for Joe because, second in command will step in and we like him, depending on who the second in command is, who the vice president would be then. So, that's one way to solve the Kamala problem. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm telling you right now, they've got some kind of thing that they're going to have to work out. And could the stakes for this debate be any higher for the Democrats? It couldn't be any higher. So that's the Daily Mail's take, and then there's my take about things that might happen. Who knows? It's all speculation. It's all, sort of navel-gazing stuff to see who's going to, do what. But I keep looking at this thing. I keep looking at this and I go, well, is this the guy they're really going to nominate? I can't imagine that it would be. It's 21 minutes past the hour. In a moment, I have some new numbers that are out. Some of them are good for Trump. Some of them not so good for Trump. And I'll give you what has been handed down today in the way of new polling numbers and some other 2024 news. But right now, it's 21 after the hour. Time for a break. USS, the same company you've trusted for 30 years in your crawl space, is now offering mold treatment. And if you get the mold treatment with their special RTE process, more on that in a moment, you can get $500 off now through the end of the month. You got 10 days, so get after it, folks. That's right. The most trusted, most experienced crawl space repair company in the Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky area is now doing mold work. They actually have a way to turn your crawl space, which may be all moldy, into a healthy space. It's called the RTE process. Remove it, you treat it, and then you encapsulate the crawl space and make it a nice, clean, dry space. Now, USS doesn't just remove the growth. If you do that, you'll never rid your home of mold. It'll just come back. You've got to do the other things. You have to treat it to make sure that it doesn't come back, and then you have to encapsulate it so it can never, ever return. Don't wait. Humidity is rising. Boy, don't we know. So call now and get $500 off the USS Mold Treatment's RTE solution. USS is here to help for all your foundation and waterproofing needs. Just visit USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com, or call this number, 615-488-7855.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
The Biden administration expressing concern for increasing Hezbollah attacks at the northern Israeli border. A new State of the Teacher survey has been released, and a Nashville woman accused of setting fire inside a store while it was open. We'll have those stories at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
25 minutes now past the hour, picking up on the additional. I mean, we got so much 2024 news, we can't squeeze it all into one segment. We got to keep adding more stuff in here. There are a lot of numbers that came out. I mean, if you look at Real Clear Politics today, it is a lot to absorb. Let me see if I can sort of make this easy. Fox News did a poll, and they said in the general election number, they have Biden leading nationally by 2. In a 5-way, he leads by 1. I don't know, The Economist has it as a tie. Those are all general election numbers. If this is true, it would be a 3-point shift in Biden's direction from the last time Fox did a big general election poll. Look, that's within the margin of error. It's always been tight in the general election number, but some are looking at that and saying maybe there was a slight incremental change in Biden's direction following the convictions in New York. I don't know. It could be an outlier. Like I say, a lot of others have it pretty dead even. We'll see. But as you know, I believe that the thing you've got to look at is the battleground states, because we don't elect presidents by general election numbers. It's not a popular vote election. It is an electoral college vote that matters. And you have to look at the battleground states. So let's do that. Hill Emerson has a brand new poll out, and I'm going to give you first the two-way number, which means if it were Biden and Trump, and then the five-way number if they include RFK and West and Stein. Okay, so here we go. In Arizona, the two-way number, Trump leads by 4. The five-way number, Trump leads by 1. Georgia, Trump leads by 4 in the two-way number. He leads by 8 in the five-way number. Nevada, Trump leads by 3 in the two-way. He leads by 3 in the five-way. Pennsylvania, Trump leads by 2 in the two-way, and he leads by 3 in the five-way. Wisconsin, Trump leads by 3 in the two-way and by 2 in the five-way. Minnesota, it's a tie in the two-way. And the five-way Minnesota poll, he leads by 1. Very close, but he leads by 1. And in Michigan, the two-way, he leads by 1. And in the five-way, he leads by 2. So if you look at the five-way numbers, which I think is the best number to look at, quite frankly, because there could well be 5 names on the ballot for everybody. Who knows how it's going to work out? Trump leads in all of those battleground states: Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Michigan. So there you go. That's the Hill Emerson number. Overall, Biden's approval ratings are at 45%, Fox says. Rasmussen says his overall approval rating is 44. The Economist says that it's 42. And then getting back to the battlegrounds for just one more number. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you, but Real Clear Politics key battleground average still has Trump leading on average in those battleground states by 3.4. So, good. I think is it tightening? Yes. What's the purpose of the tightening? I don't know. It generally, numbers do get tighter as you get closer and closer to Election Day. And again, it could be that this Fox News poll is an outlier. A lot of people thought that the New York Times Siena poll was an outlier that showed Trump doing so extremely well in some of these battleground states. So you never know. But again, I lay it out there for your consideration. Okie doke? All right. Let's see very quickly. What else? Trump will get the final word at the debate on the 27th. They flipped a coin, and Biden won the coin toss and selected tails. He chose to pick the president's standing position. If you won, you got to choose between choosing where you were going to be on the stage or whether you would be the first or the last person in closing arguments. So he said, I want to be on the right side of the stage, and he chose that. I thought they were going to be sitting. I mean, last I heard, they were going to be sitting, but now apparently they're going to be standing, and he'll be on the right side of the stage, Trump on the left side of the stage from the viewer's perspective. And then Trump will get to have the last word in closing arguments, which, it's a sort of a nice advantage to have that, I suppose. And Biden right now is at Camp David and will be there, I understand, until just before the debate. That's the plan. Going to be there prepping, which tells you how much emphasis they're putting on this particular debate and how important it is to the Democrats. And I'll leave it right there, except to add that you won't be hearing much from the White House in the coming week. Won't even be any briefings while he's at Camp David prepping for the debate. 31 now, past the hour, time for the news.
3:31, I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got sun, 92 degrees, a complete weather forecast, and a traffic report are just a couple of minutes away. The Biden administration says it is concerned about increasing cross-border attacks between northern Israel and Hezbollah. The Iran-backed group reportedly attacking Israeli villages and civilian infrastructure. At today's State Department briefing, spokesman Matthew Miller said the administration is seeking a diplomatic solution to the fighting to prevent a second war in Israel.
We've been extremely concerned about the situation in the north of Israel. As I said, we don't want to see the conflict escalate.
America's teachers reporting more stress and more hours for less money. That's a new report from the RAND Corporation. Their research organization shows that data. They released their annual State of the Teacher survey this week. The teachers there reporting working an average of 53 hours a week and earning about $18,000 less in annual pay compared to similar working adults. Just 36% of teachers considered their pay adequate, and 59% of teachers reported frequent job-related stress. And back here in Nashville, a woman facing arson charges after allegedly setting a fire at a retail store up in the Madison area. Adriana Ellison allegedly set fire to a balloon cardboard display at the Five Below store on Gallatin Pike. The business was open and occupied when she allegedly set that fire. Nashville Fire and police responded, and the fire was contained to the burned display. She told investigators she just recently bought an electric lighter and wanted to see how it worked. She stated she was bored and wanted to see what the lighter could do to a cardboard display. Ellison was charged with attempted aggravated arson. She's in the Davidson County Jail on $20,000 bond. That is the latest news, traffic and weather. They're next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Are your retirement assets structured to minimize taxes? Look, for many hardworking Americans just like you could be overpaying on your taxes in retirement. You may be taxed on your IRA, your 401k, any other tax-deferred retirement accounts, and Beacon Capital Management is here to give you peace of mind. With the threat of massive tax increases around the corner, your nest egg could be in real trouble unless you take advantage of defensive tax-saving strategies now. Defend your hard-earned retirement savings by scheduling a free retirement tax reduction analysis today. No cost, no pressure, no obligation. If you've saved more than $250,000 for retirement, don't wait any longer. Schedule your free retirement tax reduction analysis from Beacon. Just call this number, 615-488-9303, or visit askbeaconnow.com for more details.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Ain't got no gas in it.
I tell you what, that's something else, isn't it? I mean, that is so entirely embarrassing. Well, let's talk about Secretary, as Biden calls him, Mayorkas. He got to Mayorkas' name, and then he did this. He couldn't get it out.
How do you spell that, Mr. President?
Yeah, I mean, I would hate to figure out how in the world the people who have to actually write out the transcripts are going to handle that. See, there's actually sort of like court reporters that take down everything the president says, and they put out a transcript later as part of the official record. And a lot of times they clean it up. But how do you clean that up? I mean, come on. But let's talk a little bit about Secretary and what he's been saying of late. He gets over on CNN and he's asked by that Jim Acosta. Now, take that with a grain of salt. The thing is, Acosta asks a good, hard question, but then he never follows up. He just takes whatever the person says and said, okay, I'll accept that. Really, honestly, the number of follow-up questions that would need to be asked after this statement are just unbelievable. Is he concerned about terrorists who are exploiting the southern border?
Jim, we in the law enforcement community and the intelligence community have been speaking of a heightened threat environment, certainly exacerbated in the wake of the October 7th terrorist attacks against Israel. We've been speaking about the threat of domestic violent extremism, individuals already resident in the United States who are radicalized by foreign terrorist ideologies, false narratives, anti-government sentiments, personal grievances, and other phenomenon. We also have seen a growth in the foreign terrorist threat, and we have enhanced our screening and vetting accordingly.
Oh, you mean you like letting those 6 people from Tajikistan through without any real flags going up? He's obviously not doing that.
Do you share the assessment that ISIS could?
Well, there you go. He said that's the question. So, do you share that assessment? He gave an answer saying, "Yeah, there are things." Basically, he's been said what everybody else has been saying is the screens are blinking red, but he doesn't tell you why. And the reason is because of the porous border that we have and the people that are being allowed in. What about that Rachel Morin case in Maryland where there were the mother of 5 killed by somebody who had a very troubled history, who came across the southern border illegally?
I do want to ask you about the murder of this Maryland mother that has been in the news. It's gotten a lot of attention. She was killed last year. An undocumented immigrant was just arrested in her death last week. He's suspected of multiple crimes since he crossed the border illegally in early 2023. Obviously, we know that the studies show that undocumented immigrants don't commit more crimes statistically than native-born U.S. citizens. But what do you say to critics?
He has to throw that in there.
Who blame the administration for allowing something like this to happen? Yeah, obviously, this is something that you hear in right-wing media all the time.
Right-wing media. Well, you hear it in all kinds of media. Do you think that the people in Maryland didn't hear about this? That's not right-wing media. They heard about it for sure.
Jim, first and foremost, of course, our hearts break for the children, the family, the loved ones, the friends of the individual who was murdered, the woman, the mother. Jim, a criminal is responsible for the criminal act. Mm-hmm. The criminal who committed this heinous act should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law, and forcefully so. That is my response.
You didn't answer the question. What about the fact that this guy came across the border because of your policies, your lack of any screening that takes place on the southern borders, how you're waving people through like they're going through a turnstile. Come on through. America's this way. Just head north. Have a good day. We'll see you in 6 years. Unbelievable. He gets over at Mayorkas, or as he's known. He gets over on MSNBC. You know, of course, he tells the audience what they wants to hear. Over at MSNBC, the people are very upset that the Biden administration is trying to, allegedly crack down on the southern border. It hasn't had any impact, but they're trying to they're trying to make it sound like they're doing something, and this upsets people on the left. And Mayorkas gets on MSNBC and he brags. He brags about things he wouldn't dare say elsewhere. He brags about how many people that have been given a pathway to citizenship.
President Biden, he campaigned on making a safe, orderly, and humane immigration system. Do you believe that has been accomplished?
We work at that every single day across the Department of Homeland Security, across our administration, with our partners to the south and around the world. We have established more lawful, safe, and orderly pathways than any other administration, and we are working every day to strengthen the security of our border.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it yet. In fact, and people who are down on the border say there's been no difference since he announced this plan to try to limit the number of people coming across the border. No change whatsoever. It was sound and fury, which signified absolutely nothing. Joe Biden came out and did a big dog and pony show saying, I'm going to use my executive authority to do this. And you know what? He used his executive authority and no change, zero change on the border. If not, it may have gotten a little worse because people now realize we better get across before they get serious about shutting this thing down. But you hear him talk about, Mayorkas here, Secretary, he says that, we've allowed more people to find pathways to citizenship than anybody else. And to that point, on Tuesday, Biden announced an executive order that awards amnesty to illegal immigrants married to U.S. citizens. And while he dubbed his overreach as keeping families together, according to the Federalist, it's nothing more than another step in the Democrats' plan to expand their future electorate. The executive order makes it easier for illegal immigrants who married U.S. citizens and their children to apply for lawful permanent resident status without leaving the country. And after that, U.S. citizenship. And approximately 500,000 illegal immigrants who married a U.S. citizen would benefit from the order, along with 50,000 children, according to the White House. Without providing any explanation as to how Biden claims this will strengthen the U.S. economy. Notably, recent data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that foreign-born workers gained 637,000 jobs year over year, while native-born workers lost roughly 299,000. How's that helping, the people who came to this, who live in this country, who were American citizens, or people who came to this country legally and are American citizens now? All the jobs, he talks about jobs, we're gaining jobs. Well, again, we're not really gaining jobs. You're just catching up from the pandemic. But if they've grown any jobs at all, they've gone to foreign-born workers, not native-born workers. The Bureau of Labor Statistics acknowledges foreign-born workers likely include illegal immigrants, as economist E.J. Antoni recently explained to the Federalist. The drain illegal immigrants place on the economy offsets their productive value. I think that's probably right. What does this mean for Democrats? By federal law, non-citizens, including permanent legal residents, are not allowed to vote in federal, state, and most local elections, according to US.gov. But lawful permanent residents are eligible to become a U.S. citizens after 5 years of becoming a lawful permanent resident, or 3 years if you are married to a U.S. citizen. So in 3 years, at the next, not this presidential election, but those folks will absolutely be on the pathway to citizenship and could vote in the next presidential election. I mean, a lot of people are worried that people are in this country illegally will do that anyway. We talked about that the other day. Remember how easy it is for somebody who's in this country illegally to go and get your, in some states you're allowed to, if you're an illegal resident, you can still go get a driver's license. You go to the driver's license window and they ask you the question, are you a U.S. citizen? If you say C or yes, that's it. They give you a driver's license that shows that you're a U.S. citizen. There's no challenge to it, none whatsoever. And then with that driver's license, you can then go and apply. And if they ask you again, Are you an American citizen? You go, yes. Even if you're not. And you can get a voter registration card. Very concerning. Former President Donald Trump warned that under Biden's election year order, a deluge of illegals will be given immediate green cards and put on the fast track to rapid citizenship so they can vote. Couple this with Biden's previous voter registration EO, and it's clear that Biden is attempting to win the upcoming election, not by winning over legitimate American voters, but by attempting to legitimize illegal immigrants, said Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen. He won't stop with this executive order. He will keep attempting to dilute the power of the vote of legal Americans. Of course, Biden and the Democrats, as Sean Fleetwood has explained, want Americans to believe that they aren't interested in handing out U.S. citizenship and voting rights to foreign nationals like it's candy on Halloween. Yet their actions include this EO, this executive order, suggests otherwise. In fact, Biden's EO sends the same message that a trio of Democrat witnesses sent during a Senate judiciary hearing in March. Not a single Democrat witness would resolutely say they believed only citizens should be able to vote in a federal election. Same message sent by Democrats nationwide who oppose legislation to assure citizens vote in federal elections. I mean, thank goodness. I thank the lucky stars every day that we're holding on to a majority in the House of Representatives, or this stuff would have just been rammed through by now. And remember, let me tell you, if you want to talk about how important an election is, just think about this. If it weren't for the Republican House stopping some of the nonsense stuff that the Biden administration and Democrats want to do, it would be a disastrous election coming up, because they would have already found a pathway to citizenship for all of the 8 million people who came across illegally, or maybe more, maybe 13 million, who knows. I do know this. I know that in exactly 15 seconds it'll become summer.
Wow.
I'm watching the clock. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Summertime. Mungo Jerry. Yeah. Seals and Croft. The Lovin' Spoonful.
And that's as far as I got.
And go back to Mungo Jerry. Mungo Jerry's one and only hit, ladies and gentlemen. It is 52 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
A move in the U.S. Senate to designate Russia a state sponsor of terrorism. Pressure building on the Israeli prime minister by his own countrymen. And a domestic incident in Clarksville this morning turns deadly. We'll have those stories and more coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, it is 57 minutes now past the hour. Let's see how the markets did today. Well, it looked like a pretty good day on the Dow, up 299 points. The S&P was down 13. The NASDAQ down 140 points. So mixed boards today. What's driving the market? Well, let's check in with John Maxon over at Beacon Capital Management for more on that. Hello, John. How you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Brian. Yeah, kind of a mixed board. Dow had a good day. S&P actually crossed 5,500 for the first time before it pulled back, and then the NASDAQ was down almost 2%. So tech really took it a little bit more than the other indexes. Really, the market opened up after the holiday, and we did get some information that may give the Fed reason to cut rates sooner than later. We'll see. It was a negative 5.5% month over month, and housing starts, builder permits were down 3.5%. So the economy definitely showing signs of cooling. In addition to that, initial jobless claims were higher than expected. So tomorrow we're going to get existing home sales and leading economic indicators. So the Fed's going to be watching all those reports, but at least the ones today show the economy slowing. So that should be good for rate cuts.
All right. Thank you very much, John. Find out about all the things that John Maxon and all the good people over Beacon Capital Management can do for you to help you get ready for your retirement. Just go to their website, askbeaconnow.com. 59 minutes past the hour. Hey, listen, a message from the folks over at Grace Point Healthcare. They want to start thinking about back to school and sports physicals. Well, Grace Point provides complete physicals for kids of all ages. Scheduling an international vacation or a mission trip. There's an idea. Grace Point offers complete travel immunizations and is CDC certified for yellow fever and all international immunization protocols. And because they will see you the same day or the next day, guess what? You don't have to wait days or weeks for an opportunity to see the doctor. That's what it's all about. Modern medicine at your convenience. That's Grace Point is affordable, comprehensive, convenient. It's medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. They're located on Main Street in Franklin, and here's the number, 615-599-6868. Again, that's 599-6868 to schedule your appointment.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Good afternoon. It's 1 minute past 4 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got a mix of clouds and sun, 93 degrees. A full forecast and another traffic report are upcoming. Republican U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina says America needs to up its game when it comes to Russia. That's why he says he's leading a bipartisan push to make Russia a state sponsor of terrorism.
If the bipartisan bill becomes law, Russia would join the likes of Syria, North Korea, and Iran, state sponsors of terrorism. The bill is being led by Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal. Blumenthal calls this a personal priority.
Russia deserves to be in this small, selective club of atrocity-committing killers.
It comes a day after Russia and North Korea signed an agreement pledging to support each other if the countries face aggression.
That's Barry Russum reporting from Washington. Pressure mounting in Israel on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. For a second time this week, protesters have showed up at his home. Here's Tom Sufi Burridge reporting from Tel Aviv.
We're seeing thousands of protesters once again marching from the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, in Jerusalem towards Netanyahu's official residence. We were there a couple of days ago. These are people who want elections, they want an end to the war in Gaza, and they want the hostages home.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, one person is dead, another critically injured after a domestic-related shooting in Clarksville. That's according to the Clarksville Police Department. Officers showed up this morning to a shooting in progress call at Timberline Way, a residence there, just before 9 a.m. When police entered the home, they say they found two people with gunshot wounds. One victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The other flown to Nashville by helicopter and is listed in critical condition, according to police. No further details have been released at this time. And finally, a new report compares household bills in Nashville to the rest of the country, and it's not pretty. Here's WTN's Ken Weaver.
News 2 says finance service company Doxo says Nashvillians pay 16% more than the national average, 27% more than the state average for household bills. This report says a typical Nashville household pays $2,457 a month or $29,478 a year for the 10 most common bills. Nashvillians are spending 37% of their income on household bills. Now, if you can stand it, Nashville Electric Service says one way to save money on those monthly electricity bills is to leave your thermostat near 78 degrees and use a fan during the summer. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather, they are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Good afternoon, everybody. 8 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk. Brian Wilson in the chair and on the air, but not on TV today because, well, you don't want to see me today. I'm there. We have an image, but it's not live, not my live image. I had to get carved up by the Dermy doc yesterday, so.
Yeah, you're frozen like Joe.
Yeah. That's right. No, I had to go to the Dermy doc yesterday, and so we're not putting my live image today. And believe me, this is a gift to you because you don't want to. I mean, I'm a little bunged up right now. This is what happens when you get to be of a certain age, and you have a misspent youth out in the summer sun of West Texas without knowing anything about something called sunblock. What's that? We never heard of sunblock when I was a kid, but I'm paying the price for it now. So again, everything went well, but I am sort of patched up here, and I have sort of a little black eye. I mean, this was like they took a quarter-sized hunk out of my face yesterday.
So what you're saying is it looks like someone told you to sit down and you stood up?
It's something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm telling you, it's not pretty. But everything went well. Everything went extremely well.
That's what's important.
And that's what's important. Yeah. I don't know how much people care about this, but there's a procedure called Mohs. And what they do basically is they go in there and they take out the skin around the concerned area. And then they take it immediately and go look at it and make sure they got it all. And if they don't, they come back and take a little more. We got ours all in the first bite of the apple.
That's what you hope, yeah.
That's right. And then they stitched me up. And so where that all happened, I'm a little bruised and a little swollen, and I have a big bandage on the side of my face. So, again, not to overshare.
Yeah, well,
but I say this with great love to you. We do know about sunblock now.
Yeah.
Don't be me. Take advantage of sunblock and put it on. I got me now. I had to go out because I all my life I just wear today I'm wearing a ball cap. I wear ball caps a lot when I want to go outside. And mainly I was thinking keep the sun off your nose. Not that I'm sure it really does a great job of that, but at least you have some hope with that bill out there that your nose is going to be protected somewhat. But I had to go out and buy the farmer's hat. I mean, I got a big old broad brim summer's hat, farmer's hat that has a neck thing that goes down, so I look like an Arab sheik or something. I don't know.
You're going to go trek in the desert later.
It really looks like somebody who's going on the back of a camel across the great desert, the Great Mojave, or some kind of major desert trek. But one way or the other, it did turn out well, and that's why I'm not. We have the live feed up. Don't get me wrong; it's there, but you're just going to see me in a frozen position. I will look a lot like, as you said, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
On a good day, I'll look like. All right. So, are we going to swap it up? Let's swamp it up. Go down to the swamp, go over to the swamp, talk about things going on there, keep you apprised of all things swampalicious. And this irritates me a great deal. Jim Jordan, who I love Jim Jordan so much. I mean, he is a guy who, I don't know anybody talks as fast as he does, but boy, when he talks, he gets a lot of good stuff in. He knows how to formulate a good argument. Jim Jordan asked the Department of Justice watchdog to investigate whether the FBI is now purging agents who happen to hold conservative views. Apparently, there's now, in a review process, they're asked really ridiculous questions. Here we go. From justthenews.com. Jordan request comes days after Just the News reported an FBI security clearance review asked whether an employee had vocalized support for Donald Trump, had attended a Second Amendment rally, or expressed skepticism about vaccines. If you are an FBI agent and you're going through your security review and you apparently have done any of those things, well, apparently they're going to look at you askance. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan on Thursday asked the Department of Justice chief watchdog to open an investigation into whether or not the FBI has been using political litmus tests to push out agents or workers with conservative political views, and sent a stark warning to Director Christopher Wray. The FBI appears to be purging itself of employees who do not share its preferred political views, Jordan wrote in a letter to Wray, after sending a separate letter to DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz seeking an inquiry. Jordan's letters came days after Just the News reported that documents from an FBI security clearance review had asked whether an employee vocalized support for Donald Trump, attended a Second Amendment rally, or expressed vaccine skepticism. The chairman, who has been running an investigation into the alleged political weaponization of law enforcement, told Horowitz that the FBI targeting of a colleague's political beliefs and protected First Amendment activities was deeply concerning and appeared to have nothing to do with evaluating risks. These actions only serve to further erode the dwindling public trust in the FBI and reinforce the committee and select subcommittees' concerns about political bias within the FBI. On what planet is this okay? In what planet, if you happen to say that, you have strong Second Amendment beliefs or strong First Amendment beliefs, and you're going to express, outside of work, of course, your political beliefs as you see fit. Supreme Court says that political speech is of the most important protected speech. But apparently, if you have a voice, support for Donald Trump, they look at you and they say, we need to take a second look at this individual. Jordan also cited a separate piece of evidence uncovered by the conservative Judicial Watch group that said smacked of political retaliation against FBI whistleblowers who were assisting Congress. Documents appear to show how an FBI official disclosed non-public information about FBI whistleblowers to a Democrat member of the Select Subcommittee in advance of a Select Subcommittee hearing at which the whistleblowers were scheduled to testify publicly about FBI misconduct. It appears from the documents that the FBI sought to selectively disclose this non-public information so that it would be used to impugn the credibility of the whistleblowers. That's dirty. In a separate letter to Wray, Jordan said it appeared that to be no security clearance purpose for asking about an employee's political viewpoints. While the FBI might have legitimate reason to determine whether its employees commit or advocate for illegal acts, the questions included in the interview outline are completely irrelevant to any legitimate security risk determination. And relying on information produced in response to such questions to revoke the former employee's security clearance obviously violates the First Amendment. I'm telling you, they're trying to do everything they can to leave as many liberal people in place as they can if they should lose this election. They're taking action. They're purging the FBI, maybe other entities as well, CIA, who knows? I mean, after all, yesterday or the day before yesterday, we were talking about how the CIA is having the director of National Intelligence Office was sponsoring a fingernail painting contest for those who wanted to have the gay pride flag turned into fingernail art because it's Pride Month. The swamp. The Supreme Court today handed down a ruling. None of the big rulings we've been looking for, just handed down. See, these are cases that aren't getting a lot of attention, but there are some big ones. And Lawrence Tribe, Harvard legal scholar Lawrence Tribe, he's a law professor emeritus at Harvard University, said the Supreme Court is dragging its feet on that immunity decision regarding Donald Trump. The Supreme Court delay in deciding Donald Trump's immunity case makes a trial before election highly unlikely, legal experts say. Special counsel Jack Smith, who brought the 4-count indictment against Trump in August of 23, has accused the former president of conspiring to thwart his 2020 electoral defeat and the peaceful transfer of power to President Joe Biden. Lawrence Tribe, a constitutional law professor emeritus at Harvard University, said the Supreme Court is dragging its feet. It's obvious that the court has deliberately delayed everything. It could have easily issued a ruling on this much sooner. Last December, U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan rejected Trump's motion to dismiss the charge on grounds of absolute presidential immunity, which he argues completely shields him from prosecution for any actions taken while in office. Trump has argued the House has to impeach a former president and the Senate has to convict before an ex-president could be criminally prosecuted. But anyway, is the Supreme Court dragging its feet? I don't know, maybe. You know, it is a 6-3 conservative court, but I have a feeling this is a really difficult issue for the high court to wrestle with. And I have a feeling it may be the last thing that they release, not because that there is any kind of delaying tactic on the part of the high court, but because it's an incredibly difficult matter to decide. The high court always wrestles, and the high court really hates to get into cases where it's one body making a determination about another body. In other words, the judicial branch making an indication about something as important as executive immunity and executive privilege. Those are very difficult questions for the high court. And you really, I have a feeling there's a lot of back and forth on this one. I mean, I don't know how it's going to come out. I suspect that it might be them trying to split the baby here. And coming up with something that satisfies everyone, but I don't know that that's even possible. Very quickly, if we're also from the swamp, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu set to address Congress on July 24th. That's next week. The bipartisan invitation was signed not just by Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, but also by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. From the start, though, there are Democrats who made clear that they would boycott the speech, and more names are coming in of those who do not intend to speak. So apparently the Democrats are going to be of two minds about this, and some people apparently will not attend the joint address to Congress on July 24th by Benjamin Netanyahu. 20 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock. So summer's here. It just been about, a little less than an hour ago it arrived, actually. And the folks at Restoration Wellness want to help you get ready for the pool and for the beach and for everything else. It's not too late to get started on this. It's never too late to get started on losing weight. Restoration Wellness is a leader in weight loss management in Wilson County. So call the Restoration Wellness team today at 615-470-8124 or visit them at their website, restorationwellnessmedspa.com, to book a consultation. Now, my friends over there, Carly and Jamie, oh, man, are they nice people, really lovely people. They'll take great care of you, treat you like you're part of the family. Be part of the 100 patients who have already seen life-changing results from the weight loss management program there. I'm one of them. Cabana Wife is on this plan as well, and it is working for us. Man, she is looking good. These are customized treatment plans. They adjust. It's not one size fits all. They consider your unique needs, your lifestyle, and your goals. So if your goal is to lose stubborn body fat or if it's to improve your overall health, Restoration Wellness has a solution for you. Learn about the newest technology in weight loss management. Just go to their website, restorationwellnessmedspa.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Escalating tensions at Israel's northern border with Lebanon. We'll have some reaction to that, and we'll have today's closing money news. Those stories at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 25, making 26 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk. Brian Wilson in the chair. Glad you're with us here on this Thursday, June 20th, trying to get home. We have 92 degrees in Nashville right now, and we just had in the last hour, a little less than an hour ago, the arrival of summer at 3:51 Central Time. It arrived. And so what does this all mean? Well, it means that summer, this is the summer solstice. This is the point in which you have the longest daylight period in a 24-hour period. It'll be daylight, much later than normal. In wintertime, it gets dark at about 4:30. Well, this is the opposite of that. So that's good. I mean, we can take advantage of that, all that abundant sunshine. And I really, honestly, you get home at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, you still have time to pull weeds.
Oh, joy. Just what I wanted to do.
But it's interesting. This one apparently, they don't always fall on the same day. Summer doesn't always fall on the same day. Sometimes it's the 20th, 21st, to 22nd. But this was apparently comes uncommonly early. This is an early summer arrival. I don't understand why. Honestly, I don't. But USA Today reports that it's the earliest solstice since June 20th of 1796.
Wow.
Think about that. At that time, there were only 16 states in the Union, and the President of the United States was George Washington. So that's how long it's been since we had a summer solstice that came quite this early, according to CNN and all of that. And as with summer comes heat. As I said, it's 92 right now in the greater metro Nashville area. And people say, well, how do I stay cool? Well, that's a great question. You can't. If you follow the if you follow the advice of NES, Nashville Electric Service. Here this was in the newscast a moment ago. I have to mock this. I'm sorry, NES. With everything you're giving people advice and you're trying to be helpful. This is not helpful. While it may not be the most refreshing, NES says that if you want to save money on your electric bill, set your thermostat at 78 degrees.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That ain't going to happen in my house. I'll tell you what. It won't. And use a fan to regulate the feels-like temperature. Avoid using appliances between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Well, when else are you going to use your appliances? I mean,
we do our cooking in the middle of the night.
Yeah, apparently you're supposed to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and cook breakfast. I don't know. Keep the garage door shut. Lower your blinds. Keep your home dark and cool during the sunniest parts of the day. But this whole idea about 78 degrees, that's insane. I mean, so what is the ideal temperature for you?
In my house, I like it at about 73. That's
really.
But my house, I have a newer home and it's very well insulated. Yeah. So I get at 73 and get my ceiling fan on, and I'm just right.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Jay Harper, I see you putting on your headphones. What is the ideal temperature at your home?
Hey, I'm there with Chris. About 73, and we've got the ceiling fans going.
Yeah.
That's, and we get that morning sun in our living area. A lot of it depends on which way your home is facing, too.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Absolutely makes a difference.
Yeah.
And mine faces the wrong way. I get morning sun and afternoon sun. Different side of the house.
Ours is the same way. I mean, there are times when I come home at 4 or 5 in the evening, afternoon, can barely touch my front door. It's so darn hot.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing worse. I set mine at probably a little cooler. I mean, I like it cool. I like to sleep in a cool room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably set. Cabana wife gets up first thing in the morning. She's cold, so she jumps it up about 71. And then just before I go to bed, I'm the last one to, because I go lock up the house and close everything down and put the bulldog in her crate, that kind of stuff. And I'm always the last one to get into the bedroom. And just before I go in there, I drop it down to about 69. Nice and cool. But anyway,
hanging meat in there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I tell you, but you know what? Yesterday, for example, we were going to have this doctor's appointment. It must have been 63 degrees in that room.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, it was cold. But apparently, that's the way they like to run their.
Trying to keep the germs at bay.
78 is not going to happen. NES, not on my watch. 31 past the hour. Time for the news with Jay.
.431, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got a mix of clouds and sun. We're at 91 degrees here on Music Row. A full forecast and your traffic report are on the way. Escalating tensions at Israel's northern border with Lebanon. Israeli forces and Hezbollah fighters continue to trade threats. Israeli Defense Forces Lieutenant Dotan Razili tells ABC News they are prepared to take action.
We know what we're doing. We're planned. We're ready. And we've been brewing the plan for the last 8 months. If the government tells us to do it, we'll do it very decisively.
Let's turn now to our closing money news for the day with Daria Albinger.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. It was a mixed bag for the markets. The Dow had its best day in weeks, closing up 300 points. The S&P and the Nasdaq both hit records early on and tumbled toward the close. The S&P fell 14, the Nasdaq gave up 141. Chip maker Nvidia fell 2.4%, ending an 8-week winning streak. A mixed set of economic reports also weighing on the markets. Government data showing residential housing construction dropped to its lowest level in 4 years in May. Separate data shows home builders are losing confidence in the housing market. And the number of U.S. workers filing for unemployment benefits eased last week, but not by as much as economists had expected. Amazon is ditching the plastic air pillows it used to fill space in North American packages. Instead, it's opting for recycled paper filling. And the Supreme Court has upheld a Trump-era tax on foreign income. New York Governor Kathy Hochul signs a bill allowing parents to block their children from getting social media posts suggested by algorithms.
That is the latest news. We've got traffic and weather on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Listen, I want to tell you about a big deal going on at Genesis Diamonds, and you have to pay attention because this is a limited time offer. You have to take advantage of it before June 30th, so tick-tock. Don't miss this killer offer from Genesis Diamonds. 5 years, 0% interest financing. Not on engagement rings, not only on engagement rings, but also on earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, jewelry, pre-owned Rolex watches. Buy now, pay nothing down. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0% interest. That's a $5,000 gift, comes out to about $85 a month. That luxury pre-owned Rolex Submariner, Datejust, or Explorer starts at about $150 a month. This is an insane offer from the jeweler that's always finding ways to bring you more value. All GIA certified diamonds are now included in this. Rounds, princess cuts, ovals, pear shapes, cushion cuts, emerald cuts. Whether you get a $5,000 diamond or a $50,000 diamond, you can spread your payments over 5 whole years. Lab-grown diamonds are also included. You get the Genesis value price on anything, and you can spread your payments over 5 years. Hurry, limited time offer ends on June 30th. Will not be extended. Genesis Diamonds, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs, Springs. Details and more at GenesisDiamonds.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
It is 38 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I am Brian Wilson. I am your friend and radio buddy, and this just in. I mean, this is almost schwong worthy. I don't know. Should we do the schwong for this?
Yeah, I think we should.
We're going to have a big debate watching party. I am the first to report this.
That's right.
Breaking news from the WTN. Join Dan, Chris, Matt, and Brian at Hop Springs and Murfreesboro as we can all sit down and watch the presidential debate together. It all happens Thursday as we broadcast live starting at 3 p.m. with The Drive. Then we'll watch Trump take on Biden in the first presidential debate. This is the debate everyone is going to be watching and talking about, and we will be doing it with you. That's right. Join us live in Murfreesboro as we return to Hop Springs. Had a good event there. We packed that place. I remember it was a good event. Details at 997WTN.com. We hope to see you there. We only have a week to get this thing organized because it's just this will be next Thursday. A week from today, they'll be doing the big debate. And so we're going to be, again, at the Hop Springs in Murfreesboro, starting at 3 o'clock with my show. I'll be apparently doing, I'm just now being informed, I'll apparently be doing my show from Hop Springs. Did anybody ask? No, but that's okay. I'll be there at 3 o'clock. I'll be there with bells on. And we will go until the cows come home. This is going to be a big deal. I mean, this debate is really probably one of the most important debates that I can recall in my lifetime, because everybody's looking to see whether Joe Biden's going to be, the guy who can't remember the name of the Secretary of Homeland Security. Is he going to be that guy who introduces his Homeland Security Secretary as?
That'll be his answer for the first question.
Yeah, that's right. We should just and Mr. President, the southern border. Mr. President, Afghanistan. We'll get a lot of that. But anyway, we're really wondering which Joe Biden's going to show up. The one who yells at everybody like the State of the Union, or the one who can't find his way off a stage without somebody leading him off by the cuff. So it's going to be interesting to watch. And we'll be there, and it'll be a big deal, and I hope that you'll join us. Again, details at 997WTN.com. Hope to see you there. I love it when I get to break news. And now, it's official. I put a staple in it. All right. I want to read to you an op-ed, an opinion piece that went in the Tennessean, in case you missed it. I mean, I read the Tennessean, so you don't have to. But every once in a while, they throw out an editorial that's worth our time and our consideration. And it's from Deborah Fisher, who is the executive editor of the Tennessee Coalition for Open Government. And here's the title of the editorial: Why a Court's Witch Hunt Over a Leak in the Covenant School Shooting Case is a Problem. Here we go. It's been a dizzying few weeks in the public records case before Davidson County Chancellor Aisha Miles. For more than a year now, Miles has been considering whether the public records law requires the Metro Nashville Police Department to release files from its investigation into the Covenant School shooting. 6 people were killed, including 3 children. Now, however, as everyone has been awaiting a long overdue ruling, the chancellor has turned her attention to a leak of police records to a local conservative news website, the Tennessee Star, and she is clearly hot about it. On June 10th, she ordered Tennessee Star editor Michael Patrick Leahy, one of the plaintiffs in her case, to appear personally in court on June 17th and show, in a show cause hearing, why his publication of articles based on leaked documents does not subject him to contempt proceedings and sanctions. The court 2 days later expanded her order to include a representative of Metro government, to appear at the show cause hearing, so the court may ascertain the status and veracity of any alleged link. Then a Nashville police lieutenant delivered a declaration to the court suggesting the leaker is former Lieutenant Garrett Davidson, who also happened to be a whistleblower, filed a whistleblower complaint against his former employer, the police department. The problem with the court's witch hunt is that truthful information about the Covenant School shooting is being reported to the public. That's the problem. The court doesn't want truthful, accurate information being reported to the public from records that should have already been made public and that the public has a right to know about. But instead of focusing on fairly upholding the public records law and making a ruling expeditiously, the chancellor is now forced on finding and punishing the leaker and possibly a conservative press organization that published the material. The jurist attention and energy is misguided in my views. The chancellor's job is to decide whether the public record law requires the police department to disclose records. Her job is not to assert control over a news organization's news gathering, and it's certainly not to threaten the press with contempt proceedings for writing about the Covenant case and publishing lawfully obtained and truthful information that in this instance is clearly in the public's interest. One revelation, for example, from the leaked records is that the shooter, Audrey Hale, told her mental health providers at Vanderbilt Psychiatric Hospital multiple times that she wanted to be a school shooter and kill her father. A leaked police summary of records labeled Vandy Psych, obtained from the Vanderbilt Hospital, specifies pages of her medical records that say she had recent thoughts of going into a school and shooting a bunch of people. She had homicidal thoughts with a plan, had fantasies about being a school shooter, has homicidal thoughts such as shooting at a school, homicidal thoughts of killing her father. There's so much more. Other revelations from the now then 40 Tennessee stories based on the leaked records. The FBI suggested that the Metro Police Department could destroy the shooter's writings to prevent the public from ever seeing them. One psychologist who treated shooter Audrey Hale tried to get her involuntarily committed at the Vanderbilt Psychiatric Hospital after Hale expressed violent fantasies. Hale had been planning the attack for a very long time and thought she could have been discovered, and Hale had been treated over the course of 22 years by Vanderbilt Psychiatric. Hale was 28 years old when she attacked the school and was killed by responding police, as you know. Attorneys pleaded with the judge to make a ruling. At the Monday show cause hearing, Miles said she had been ready to issue a 60-plus page ruling when a television news reporter called her about the stories in the Tennessee Star. It was Channel 4. During the hearing, Leahy's attorney, Daniel Horowitz, tried to ascertain why she thought his client might be subject to contempt proceedings, but Miles refused to clarify, said his arguments weren't ripe, and cut him off from speaking any further. Miles had already denied Horowitz's emergency motion to set aside the show cause hearing. Horowitz had argued, among other things, that the Tennessee Shield Law protects the press from revealing its sources, and any order to not publish material lawfully obtained would be prior restraint and violate the Free Press Clause of the First Amendment. She's so right. She has got this beat on, ladies and gentlemen. During the hearing, Miles kept open the possibility that she will appoint an attorney to investigate and initiate contempt proceedings. But she spent most of the hearing asking all the attorneys about whether the leak made the public records case moot, and if anyone thought there was a violation of the court order. She was fishing or interference with the court's proceedings. She was absolutely doing a fish hunt. It was a witch hunt. That's what it was. It was fishing for somebody who might say, well, I have a real problem with that. Nobody did, by the way. All of the attorneys urged her to make her ruling, and some suggested the leak was a separate matter and someone other than the court can address it. If this case ends up being about the court punishing the press or even a leaker, it will have gone far beyond where it started. The Tennessee Public Records Act allows a requester whose public records request was denied by a government entity to petition for access to any such record and to obtain judicial review of the actions taken to deny the access. The statute goes on to say, the court, in ruling upon the petition of any party proceeding hereunder, shall render written findings of fact and conclusions of law, and shall be empowered to exercise full injunctive remedies and relief to secure the purposes and intentions of this section, and this section shall be broadly construed so as to give the fullest possible public access to public records. The leaning on this should be toward releasing information to the public. That's the way the law leans. The public does have a right to know about what led up to the shooting and whether or not it could have been prevented. If the sliver of information from the leaked police records is any indication, there has been a lot that has been kept from the public. And Deborah Fisher, executive director of the Tennessee Coalition for Open Government, in her op-ed is 1,000% correct. Now, people are saying, well, Wilson, you broke some stories about all this as well. I did. And I had documents that were in the police file as of about 4 months after the shooting that gave me a unique window into where the police investigation is and the things that they were trying to learn. However, I am not a litigant in the case, so the judge hasn't got anything that she can say to me. And even if she did, I'd tell her to go pound sand, because I ain't going to reveal my source, and I'm not going to, tell you that I had any obligation other than to report what I knew. That is the obligation of a reporter. If you get information that's of importance to the community, your job is to report it. Not Channel 4, go tattling to the judge and say, oh, Judge, did you hear what they did? Oh, my goodness, they reported stuff. They did reporting. That's not your job, Channel 4. With all due respect, I have a lot of respect for some of my friends at Channel 4, but that was just the wrong thing for that reporter to do. Since when does a news organization try to stop the release of public information? And that's what that reporter did. So I hope that this judge is getting the message loud and clear that she is way over her skis on this. Way over her skis. This is not what she's supposed to be deciding. It's a simple question. There are records. Normally they would be made public. Why have they not been made public? Should they be made public? That's your only question. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. 50 minutes now past the hour.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
The Israeli prime minister facing mounting pressure. A Middle Tennessee recycling facility was evacuated today. And animal lovers, a warning, as we're going to have a rather disturbing story out of Jackson County, Tennessee here later. That's coming up at 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, thank you, Jay Harper. He's there in the newsroom. Chris Weber pushing all the blinky buttons, as he so ably does. A reminder, you can join Dan, Chris, Matt, and me at Hop Springs and Murfreesboro as we watch the presidential debate together. It'll happen Thursday, a week from today, at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro, starting at 3 p.m. The drive will be there. Then we'll watch Trump take on Biden in the first presidential debate, a debate that is going to be really important to how things go forward. So I hope that you'll make plans to join us in Murfreesboro as we return to Hop Springs. Details at 997WTN.com. It is now 58 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk. You know, a lot of things are pretty unreliable these days, like when someone tells you, oh, that thing that we promised you that would be ready at 4 o'clock is not ready, I'm sorry. People really get tired of that stuff. And if you've had it with unreliable vehicle repair shops who do that to you, why don't you try URFARB? URFARB has your vehicles ready when they're supposed to be ready, so you don't have to stand around tapping your toe, wasting your valuable time. URFARB repairs all European cars with quality that beats the dealer, and it's without dealer pricing. That's because dealer repair shops are designed to pay virtually all of a dealership's overhead, and that's a lot of money. Why would you want to pay for that? At URFARB, reliable means a 3-year nationwide warranty plus a free loaner car with every repair appointment. Make sure you call ahead. Loaner cars are very popular. If you're tired of unreliable vehicle repair shops, come to where it is reliable. URFARB, family owned for 24 years. Call this number, 844-URFARB, or visit myurfix.com. That's myurfix.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
It is 5 p.m., and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've got sun with scattered clouds. We're at 92 degrees on Music Row. A full forecast and the latest traffic report are on the way. For the second time this week, Israeli protesters have marched to the home of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge is in Tel Aviv. He says the Prime Minister is facing more mounting pressure.
With President Biden accusing the Biden administration of withholding ammunition and weaponry from Israel. The Biden administration saying that is not accurate. They have only withheld one shipment of heavy weaponry. Netanyahu now saying, I am ready to suffer personal attacks, provided that Israel receives from the U.S. the ammunition it needs in the war for its existence. This is his argument. He's saying Israel is in this existential fight. But that comment is typical. Netanyahu is a combative politician, but his critics in Israel say right now, this spat with the U.S. is against Israel's strategic interests.
And a very disturbing story. This happened in Jackson County, Tennessee. Authorities there say a woman was angry with her boyfriend, and what she did is despicable.
A case of animal cruelty about a 2-hour drive east of Nashville in Jackson County. News 2 says Marissa Wheeler is accused of intentionally placing her boyfriend's dog in a hot car after the two had argued. The boyfriend discovered the dog 7 hours later with the windows up and the car not running, the dog dead. Wheeler is accused of then trying to revive the dog by putting it in a 50-gallon tank of water. Authorities are charging her with aggravated animal cruelty. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Also in the mid-state, a recycling facility evacuated earlier this afternoon for reports of a fire. The Nashville Fire Department says crews were on the scene at 19th Avenue North for this recycling facility. The blaze has been contained, but due to the contents inside, there's going to be a lot of smoke ventilating from the area for a while. It's unclear at this time what exactly caused that fire. The good news, no injuries reported. And sadly, an acting icon, Donald Sutherland, the beloved actor who starred in scores of films from The Dirty Dozen, MASH, and Clute to Animal House, Ordinary People, and Pride and Prejudice, he has passed away. He won an Emmy for Citizen X and recently gained a new legion of younger fans for his portrayal of the president in the Hunger Games franchise.
Hope. It is the only thing stronger than fear.
Donald Sutherland died in Miami after a long illness. He was 88 years of age. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather, they are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's still a steamy 90 degrees out there as this is the first day of summer, not the first full day, but the first partial day. This is, however, I am told, the longest day of the year. Everybody said, wait, Wilson, the day has 24 hours. They're all 24 hours long. And I just want to say to people, stop it. You know what I'm talking about. The longest period of daylight we have all year long is today. The day is sunlight. Day has light, dark has night. And therefore, when I say it's the longest day, I'm talking about the longest period of sunshine is today.
I always thought the longest day was that day I spent at the DMV.
Well, there's that.
That was the longest day.
Yeah, time is relative, says Einstein, so I guess. There we go. And so, listen, try to stay cool out there. And remember, when you get home, NES says, hey, listen, you can set your thermostat at 78 degrees.
Oh, well, thank you.
Gosh, that's awful nice. Set it at 78, and I say, why bother with air conditioning if it's going to be 78?
Don't even need the oven then. You just cook on the countertop.
That's right. Just crack eggs out there on the granite, and get you a nice omelet going. Let's do the 2024 update because there's some pretty good stuff here to talk about today. You and I have talked time and time again about whether or not the Democrats are going to stick with Joe Biden. And I, honestly, I'm beginning to believe they won't. Every day that we get closer to the election, I believe that they probably won't do that. And here's the reason. Here is the President of the United States trying to introduce his Secretary of Homeland Security. Have you heard this? It's just amazing.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband. Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the
way. Oh, my gosh. Did you catch that? Homeland Security Secretary.
You ain't
got no gas in it. Yeah, it sounds like somebody tried to start up a motorcycle, doesn't it? Or started an old car. I mean, I can't. How would you, if you're the transcriptionist who has to write down everything the president says, how would you describe that? How would you spell that?
Just put a bunch of consonants all in a row, random letters.
I guess. I have no idea how you would do that. I would love to see how they cleaned that one up. Anyway, that's Joe Biden. That's on a day-to-day basis. That's Joe Biden. The Joe Biden who wanders off at a meeting of the G7. The Joe Biden who freezes in the Rose Garden when they're out there having their Juneteenth celebration and everybody's moving and grooving except him, and he's just frozen, motionless. I mean, it was weird, just strange. And then, it's the Joe Biden who needs to be let off the stage by Barack Obama grabbing his little sleeve. Yeah, Joe, come on, Grandpa, let's go. It's this way. And, just embarrassing. You could tell Obama knew he'd sort of done something. I mean, he had to do something. Joe would have just stood there. And so he sort of tugged at his sleeve, and then he decided, well, I better make this look like I'm his best buddy. But it came across as creepy. Like, come on, Grandpa, put hand around you. Come on, Grandpa, the stage exit is this way. And just a bad moment. So is that guy going to be actually the nominee for the Democrats? I've been saying for some time now, I thought they would have to dump him. I think that the fact that he's now at Camp David, 7 days he's going to be at Camp David, preparing for the debate on the 27th. He's at Camp David. That's all he's got on his schedule. I mean, I guess he'll get a morning briefing, but I mean, other than that, he'll be at Camp David focused on the debate. They need to give him as much time as they can, as much rest as they can, so he comes to the debate fresh. But which Joe Biden is going to show up? This Joe Biden? Or the Joe Biden who... I'm sorry, that is so funny. That guy or the Joe Biden who showed up at the State of the Union address mad and angry at everybody, screaming for 2 hours. I don't know. It depends on which drugs they give him, I suppose. But let's say for a moment, let's throw out a hypothetical. What if hypothetically the debate does not go well for him? I mean, honestly, he's going to botch it. Even if they got him the cocktails of drugs that they gave him at the State of the Union, he's not going to be able to rely on a teleprompter. He's going to be just out there just talking. And you know, whatever his feeble mind can retain, he's going to be spitting that back out. And there's no telling how that's going to go. And so if it goes badly for him, and you know, we have to put out a transcript from the White House that has, you know, umpteen number corrections of things that he said that were wrong, people are going to be looking for everything. I mean, honestly, everybody's going to be looking at every word he says because they're going to be judging, is this guy up to the task? But if it goes badly, what might happen? How might Democrats get rid of Joe for someone else? Daily Mail claims to have inside knowledge of the secret plot to replace Biden should that become necessary. And it tells you everybody who's going to be involved and when they would do it. Let me share some of the key points from this rather lengthy article. It's about 14 pages long. Seems no matter how much cold water the Biden campaign or Democrat Party throws on the raging fire of speculation, Americans will not be put off the great Joe Biden replacement theory. It is the idea that somehow, some way, the president will be swapped out as the Democrat Party's candidate ahead of the 2024 election. Dropping out would be a huge risk, they write, but there's some threshold below which continuing to run is a risk. That, according to polling guru Nate Silver, writing last week. Are we there yet? I don't know, but it's more than fair to ask the question, and Nate is right about that. According to Democrat bigwigs, Obama campaign guru David Axelrod, the Biden team scheduled one of the earliest presidential debates in history to prove to naysayers that Joe is not going anywhere. Or you could look at it alternatively as we did it early, so when he bombs, we'll have time to do something about it. That's the way I look at it. But the gambit carries tremendous risk. While an efficient debate performance by Biden could help rally Democrats behind him, a significant misstep would only stoke more replacement chatter. Former Clinton advisor and polling expert Mark Penn, smart guy, suggests the CNN debate will be Biden's last chance to reassure voters that he's fit for the job. They have deliberately thrown down the gauntlet for an early debate, Penn said, and I think that's going to be the point at which Americans judge, is he ready for another term or not? Now, the DailyMail.com has learned that if Joe Biden stumbles in that first face-off with Trump, or if his polling numbers keep falling, it will take a united front of the liberal grandees to make Joe throw in the towel. The only people who could force him out would be Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer, one Democratic strategist told the Daily Mail. It would have to be all four of them collectively, and the process would be high risk. Some party insiders concede that the candidate swap could work if everything was carefully planned and executed. Political columnist Joe Klein theorized in a recent newsletter that if Biden were to stand down, a vigorous young candidate, and Klein said, I don't know who it would be, could win over the country with a single convention speech in August. In Klein's scenario, the Democratic Party savior would deliver an Obama-esque inspirational speech akin to Barack's famous 2004 Democrat convention's address, and that would quickly bring together all disaffected Democrats and moderate independents. All right, I could see that happening. Plus, Klein wrote, the Democrat Party, a prodigious dislike of Trump, would probably unite any disaffected factions behind a new nominee. But there's another complication. As the recognized leader of the Democratic Party, a stubborn Biden could refuse to step down and fight on to Election Day, even as the party grows more exasperated with his performance. Biden is fiercely proud of his first-term accomplishments, which he dubiously boasts are more significant than other modern presidents' triumphs. Though, to be fair, Biden was the one who beat Trump in 2020. Additionally, while Biden respects former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Bill Clinton, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, his growing resentment of Obama has become painfully clear. This is interesting. The former president famously backed Hillary Clinton in 2016 over Biden in the Democrat primary and even reportedly tried to stop his vice president from running in 2020. Ironically, both Barack and Michelle Obama appear to have intentionally kept their distance from the Biden White House, knowing that their public appearances trigger nostalgia for the days when voters actually liked their nominees. Barack Obama did make a brief appearance at the White House state dinner for the Kenyan president in late May. However, it was noted that Michelle was nowhere in sight. Ms. Obama, who has no close personal feelings for the Bidens, according to one well-connected Democratic source, flat out ignored the invitation. That troubling incident at the Democrat fundraiser held at the Peacock Theater in downtown Los Angeles on Saturday night only underscored the concerning optics for the Biden campaign. So the Democrat Party machine has now elected to hold an online nomination process with a virtual roll call to formally select Biden as their nominee ahead of the DNC convention in Chicago in mid-August. Why are they doing that? Well, ostensibly, the cover story is we're going to do that so that we can make the ballot in Ohio. Ohio, it has certain deadlines. If you're going to be on the ballot in Ohio, you have to have your nomination done by then. And since they have chosen to have such a late convention, they're going to do it virtually. They're going to get together virtually, right? Okay, so assume that at this debate next Thursday, a week from today, Biden craters. At this virtual convention, where they're getting together ostensibly to make it official for Joe Biden, what if they all sort of managed it in a different way? Here, I pick up the story again. Part of the reason to go virtual is to ensure a more controlled process should the party decide to select a replacement candidate. In that case, top Democrat leaders would quietly draft the substitute nominee in advance. And they say that person would not be Vice President Kamala Harris, according to sources who observed that Harris has already had to fend off a push to replace her on the ticket. It doesn't become Kamala Harris. She only becomes the nominee if Biden dies, said one blunt consultant. That is pretty blunt. So strategists theorize that Democrats would have to hold a public event to symbolically transfer power to the new candidate, ostensibly if they got Biden on board. Biden, Obama, Clinton, Schumer, and Pelosi would publicly introduce and endorse the anointed nominee. They would then have to convince Harris to throw her support behind the substitute, which would be a painful experience for someone so fiercely protective of her political future. I think they got another plan for Kamala. I mean, there's a couple ways to look at this. Number one, if Democrats have heartburn about Joe Biden as the presidential nominee, a lot of that heartburn would go away if he had a strong number two. If he had a vice president that everybody said, yeah, that person, whoever it is, could really step in. I have a lot of confidence in that person. That person gives me faith that if something were to happen to Joe, that we would have a vice president who could carry on. Okay. But they have to get Kamala to back out, right? How do you do that? I just point this out. This is me speaking. This is not the article. This is my theory. And the timeline falls very interesting. So the debate is the 27th, right? The end of the month is the end of the term for the Supreme Court, and I believe Sonia Sotomayor will step down. So you offer the Supreme Court seat to Kamala. You replace Kamala with somebody who's really strong. And then the idea would be, okay, yeah, we know he's old, but we don't care because we got a good number two. They don't feel that way because they don't trust Kamala and they don't like her. So that would be one way to solve the problem. Now, I mean, would Kamala go along with it? Well, I mean, a Supreme Court nomination and a seat on the high court is not nothing. She could, maybe she would go back to California and prepare to run for the governor of California. I don't know, but one way or the other, it's not going to be Kamala. I think they could do the Kamala swap, and then they don't have to worry about running Joe out of town. That's sort of one of the things that I'm thinking about. Well, we'll see how it all plays out. But one way or the other, I do believe that they're right, that the only way you get Joe Biden to step down is to get Obama and Nancy Pelosi and Bill Clinton and Chuck Schumer and maybe Hakeem Jeffries all to stand together and to go into the Oval Office and say, I'm sorry, Mr. President, but it's just not going to be you. You've got to understand how badly it went for you at that debate. It's time for you to make a decision to step down and let somebody else have a chance of winning this thing because you don't have a chance. I think that's exactly what it would take, and it would also take for everybody to be on board with it. Biden would have to come out and say, I concur. It's time for somebody else to step up. They still got to solve the Kamala problem, but I think that's something that can be managed. We'll see. Now, I got a lot more 2024 news to share with you right after this.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
New details on a mass shooting at a Juneteenth celebration in Oakland, California. Aid into Gaza through a U.S. military pier has resumed, and a Nashville woman accused of setting fire inside a store while it was still open. Those stories coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Jay Harper. 26 past the hour now of 5 o'clock. Still, it's been bouncing back and forth. 92 degrees right now in Nashville. Whew. But it's a moist heat, okay? So, there's that.
Thanks.
A couple other things about the looming debate next Thursday, a week from today. RFK Jr. will not be on the debate stage. I mean, we didn't think that he was going to be there, but he did officially today. CNN says the window is closed. He failed to qualify. It will be Biden and Trump. Now, I thought it was interesting. They apparently flipped a coin, and the person who won the coin toss got to choose between where they stood on the stage or whether they wanted to be their position in the closing arguments. Okay. Now, traditionally, if you win, you would want to be the last person. You want to have the final say. And so they tossed the coin. Biden won the coin toss with why did I mix that up? He won the coin toss with a tails selection. He chose tails. And he decided he wanted to use his win to decide where he would stand on the debate stage. He will stand on stage right. I thought they were going to be sitting. That's what I thought. So if this story's wrong, I don't know, but I thought they were going to be sitting. But apparently now comes word in this article from thehill.com that they're going to be standing. He'll be stage right. Trump will be stage left. The moderators will be in the middle. All right, so then Trump gets to decide whether he wants to have the last word or not, and he chose to have the last word. So there you go. That's how it's going to work. Biden got to choose where he stands on the stage, and Trump got to choose whether or not he had the last word, and he chose to have the last word. I think it doesn't matter where you sit on the stage, does it, honestly? I can't imagine that it would. I think the thing you got to tell Biden is you're going to be on the right side of the stage. But the more important thing is, and here's where you leave the stage, because he doesn't know. Don't expect to hear much from the White House over the next week because they are going to be tied up getting ready for the debate. He's already at Camp David and will not come back for anything until it's time for the debate. 7 days to prep. 7 long days. Okay, so all that. Let me then move down. I saved you some numbers here. I got about a minute to get these numbers. I'm going to give you the general election numbers from Fox came out today, and they show a shift toward Biden and a two-way race, Trump-Biden. Biden wins by 2 if the election were held today, according to Fox. If it's a 5-way vote, Biden wins by 1. The Economist has a 5-way poll out today. And they say it's a tie. That's a general election number. But, we don't elect presidents by general election numbers. So let's go through some battleground states. I'm gonna give I think I should give both. Hill Emerson poll, Arizona. 2-way, Trump wins by 4. In a 5-way, they say Trump would win by 1. Georgia, 2-way, Trump would win by 4. In the 5-way, he would win by 8. Nevada, in the 2-way, Trump would win by 3 in both, the 2-way and the 5-way. Pennsylvania, in the 2-way, Trump wins by 2. In a 5-way, he wins by 3. Wisconsin, Trump up by 3. In the 5-way, he would win by 2. And here, this is where the slight bit of good news for the Biden people. Minnesota, in a 2-way, it's a tie, but in a 5-way, Trump picks up 1 point. Michigan, in a 2-way, it's Trump by 1, and Michigan 5-way is Trump by 2. So it's a lot of interesting. You figure, got to wonder how much those third-party candidates are really helping or hurting. But in the grand scheme of things, I think the 5-way number is the number you look at because that's probably closer to what's going to be on the ballot. Biden approval. Oh, here, by the way, Real Clear Politics average of battleground polls to date has Trump up by 3.4 in the battleground states on average. Very quickly, Biden approval rating, Fox has it at 45, Rasmussen has it at 44, The Economist has it at 42. So somewhere between 45 and 42. 44 seems right to me, probably. Still very low for an incumbent president. Time for the news at 31 past the hour.
Good afternoon. It's 5:31. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Mostly sunny, 91 degrees on Music Row. We'll get a traffic report and another weather forecast to you here shortly. New details are being released on a mass shooting at a Juneteenth celebration in Oakland, California on Wednesday night. Alex Stone is in California.
It was around 9 p.m. when bullets started flying at Lake Merritt in Oakland. Police now say 15 people were shot and one was assaulted in the chaos. Police say a fight had broken out where an illegal sideshow was underway. Police tried to direct the crowd to a safe area during the shooting, but the people punched and pushed the officers. Over 50 shell casings were found at the scene. At least one gunshot victim was critically injured. Nobody has been arrested for the shooting.
Turning now to the crisis in the Middle East, aid into Gaza through a U.S. military pier has resumed. Pentagon Press Secretary General Pat Ryder confirmed deliveries earlier today.
Overnight, the transfer of humanitarian assistance from Cyprus to Gaza resumed with more than 656 metric tons or 1.4 million pounds being delivered to the marshalling yard in Gaza today.
Here in Nashville, a woman is facing arson charges after allegedly setting a fire at a retail store here in Nashville. According to the fire department, Adriana Ellison set fire to a balloon cardboard display at the Five Below on Gallatin Pike North. The business was open and had a bunch of people in it when Ellison allegedly set the fire. The police and fire department responded and contained the fire just to the burned display that she set ablaze. She told investigators she had bought an electric lighter and just wanted to see how it worked. She stated she was bored and wanted to see what the lighter would do to paper or cardboard. Well, Miss Ellison, she's been charged with attempted aggravated arson, and she's sitting in the Davidson County Jail on $20,000 bond. That's the latest news, traffic and weather there next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
How many times have you heard someone describe something as being the gold standard of this or that? Well, when it comes to finding an investment that protects you from runaway inflation, gold is the gold standard. It's a tried and true store of value consistent across generations. Now, maybe you've thought about adding gold or other precious metals to your portfolio, but you don't feel like you got the knowledge. I felt that way. I mean, I really needed help. And I got the help I needed from the folks at Nashville Gold & Coin. Here's the way it works. Very easy. You make an appointment. You sit down one-on-one with my friends at Nashville Gold & Coin. They'll answer all your questions and help you make the precious metals investment that's right for you. It's friendly. I guarantee you'll walk out having learned a lot, and you'll never be subjected to a high-pressure sales pitch. Gold and silver can be a safe haven in uncertain economic times, and my friend at Nashville Gold & Coin are standing by to answer all your questions about the precious metals market. To set up your one-on-one appointment, just go to NashvilleGoldandCoin.com. That's NashvilleGoldandCoin.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, No open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
"38 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Brian Wilson in the chair and on the air all the way till 7 o'clock on this steamy summer day. Yeah, it's summer now, baby. It arrived at 3:51. Do we still have that little piece of music that we played?
Yeah.
Let's just take a moment here before I get into some other things and celebrate summer, which arrived at 3:51 today. Little Mongo Jerry. That is one and only hit. There you go. Seals and Croft. The Lovin' Spoonful. There you go. And back to Mungo Jerry. I don't remember anything about Mungo Jerry except this song.
Well, with a name like Mungo Jerry, how much success could you really expect to have?
I know. Mungo. Wasn't that the name of the character in the Blazing Saddles? Mongo?
No, that was Mongo.
Mongo.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Mungo.
Mungo, yeah.
Yeah. Mungo Jerry. I wonder what that stands for. Anyway, it is summer and the longest daylight period that we will have all year long. After today, they get incrementally shorter. Actually, I told there's not much difference in the first few days, right around this time.
Yeah, very little. Seconds.
Seconds.
Yeah.
But then it really starts to accelerate until we get to I think it's the week before Christmas. We get to the shortest day of the year.
Yep.
So, then I think for speaking of the solar calendar, we're halfway through the year.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Pretty much. I don't know. One way or the other, it's still hot. And summer arrived here, really honestly, for Middle Tennessee last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to get brown spots on my lawn, and it's concerning me, quite frankly.
Yep.
I know. I don't have. Part of my lawn doesn't have the ability. I don't have the. I would never water my yard anyway. I just don't believe in that.
Same.
Yeah, but if I wanted to, I can't over on part of my lawn because it doesn't have any water.
You could drag the hose around there.
Well, it'd be an awful long hose, and I don't have that much hose or that much interest in actually going over and watering. So
yeah, that's it.
So yeah, all right. All right. Let's see. Nashville bills compare nationally. Not very well. A new study shows the typical Nashville family pays well above the national average when it comes to household bills. We think of living as being pretty reasonable here in Middle Tennessee. The cost of living is pretty reasonable, but still, when you look at it honestly, the cost of bills in Nashville is 16% higher than the national average, 27% higher than the state average, making Nashville the 10th most expensive city in Nashville for household bills. I'm surprised it's not higher. The typical Nashville household pays $2,457 a month or $29,478 a year for the 10 most common bills. They talk about your water bill, your cable bill, your electric bill, your gas bill, whatever it is. They add them all up, and your rent, and they say it comes to, on average, $2,400. I wish I had it that good. I don't. But that would be nice. But it's expensive, getting more expensive to live here in Middle Tennessee. And this is, the study shows Nashvillians are spending 37% of their income on household bills. So that's still a lot of disposable income. And by the way, this is the story in which the folks over at NES, Nashville Electric Service, say that if you want to reduce your electric bill, which is a big this time of year, set your thermostat at 78. Yeah, right. Like that's going to happen.
Sure.
Why bother? The folks over at Ascension Hospital, you know, that's where I go for all my medical cares over at Ascension. I have doctors over there, and I find them to be great. It's a great, great hospital. It truly is. I've had great experiences over there. You know, last year when I had to go through a couple of things, and I had to have them stick a catheter up in my heart and zap my heart and all that kind of stuff, all happened at Ascension. Well, they have been going through a thing. I haven't really talked about it. I've noticed it. I thought it was interesting. They got a cyber attack. And they lost a lot of their health records, got sort of hung up, and their systems quit working. And the cyber criminals that carried out the cyber attack said, "Oh well, if you want to pay us, we'll give you the magic numbers or the key to unlock all your files." And they decided they weren't going to pay it. I admire them for that, but it meant that for a while they really didn't have systems that were working properly for quite a while. But they now say that no health records were compromised, and that their systems are now back in operation. This means the clinical workflow in our hospitals and clinics will function similarly to the way it did prior to the ransomware attack. This also means patients will see improved efficiencies in appointment scheduling, wait time for appointments, and prescription fulfillment. However, our investigation into this incident is ongoing, along with the remediation of additional systems, apparently not completely done. One of the things that they said was that apparently somebody, you know, this is what when we go to IT class, Chris, what do they tell you? Don't click on a file if you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Somebody clicked on a file. And they said, do
you work over there, Brian, by chance?
No, I don't. Because I'm always fine. In our place, we have IT systems, right? And IT, we always have to go to IT school. About 3 times a year we got to go to
Something
IT
like
school.
That, yeah.
And they make us go to IT, and where they teach us about not clicking on files. And then those evil people in the IT department, actually they're nice people, but I mean, but they try to trick us.
That they do.
They try to trick us. They will try to. They will send you a fake email, and if you click on it, if you fall for it, then they make you go back and take a remedial IT course.
Yeah. You know, I got one of those emails today, but you know, it just so happens it was obvious though, to me at least.
See, I've got the solution to this. I don't open any company. I don't any email at all.
Yep.
I look at the headlines and I get what I can from that, and then I move on. So I mean, if you're going to play that game with me,
no.
I'm just not going to open the email.
At least you're safe that way.
You know, I'm not going to be sent back to. I've done it. I've fallen for their evil tricks. about 3 times. So anyway, I can understand how this happens. I do. It's social engineering, or they convince you that there's an urgent need for some bit of information. And please click on the file to complete the information so we can avoid this problem. And you react, and apparently all it takes is one person to make a mistake, and once they get into the system, they're off to the races. They can start locking up computers throughout the system. It's really a sad thing. But I admire Ascension for not paying a lot of hospitals, rather than go through a big mess with it, they'll just pay it. A lot of companies will just pay the ransomware and figure that, well, it's cheaper to do that than to rebuild our entire computer systems. But Ascension decided not to do that. The Nashville Council has passed its budget, calls for a 4% raise for city employees. Basically, what happens is the mayor submits his budget, and then the council has its way with it. And Delicia Porterfield substituted the council measure, which had found great following, in place of the mayor's budget, and it received unanimous vote from members of the council. The mayor's on board with it as well. He made an appearance on the council floor to congratulate her on Tuesday night. In a statement about the budget's approval, O'Connell said the balanced budget lives within the city's means while also investing in workers, teachers, affordable housing, and public safety initiatives. I'm grateful for the work of Budget and Finance Committee Chair Delicia Porterfield, with whom our priorities are well aligned. Okay, so that happens. I thought it was interesting. Porterfield took O'Connell's proposed budget and allocated about $12 million, dipping from funding sources like administrative savings. Oh, if we save a little money, guess what? It's only so we can turn around and spend it. Never give it back to the taxpayer. And then tapped into reserve funds. Well, that's your rainy day fund. Why would you want to go there? Is it an emergency? No. They just don't believe in having a rainy day fund. So they went into reserve funds. She stressed the move was a unique circumstance. It always is with Democrats. Metro will have to replenish some of those funding sources in future budget cycles. They won't. My focus for this year's budget was to utilize an equity lens, here we go, to prioritize the residents of Nashville, particularly our youth and our city employees, who are vital to making our cities thrive. They gave $1 million to the kids. That's right. Let's give $1 million to a bunch of kids. The varsity spending plan set out of youth violence prevention programs developed by the Southern Movement Committee. The funds will be used to establish an Office of Youth Safety. $250 will contribute specifically to youth violence prevention programs within the Metro Parks Department. Yes, because if you want to avoid crime, you give money to the Parks Department. All right. I'll save further commentary for another time on that. Metro Nashville Council passes the mayor's multi-billion-dollar transit plan on first reading. I will have a lot to say about this between now and the election. This is not the time, but I think there are big problems with this. While the price of the plan was originally priced at about $3.1 billion, an independent audit by the accounting firm Kraft CPAs has since shown the mayor's plan will swell to $6.93 billion over the 15-year life of the project. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. Go from $3.1 billion to $7 billion. Despite this and other concerns, the mayor's plan will be read for a second time at the Metro Council's July 2nd meeting. The plan is filed as an ordinance. It will go on the referendum ballot. They'll go to produce the language to go on the ballot after that. And I hope the city of Nashville shuts him down, like they have in the past. When you dig into the details of this plan, there's a lot of things that you don't want in Nashville, and you're not being told the entire truth by the mayor. You certainly are not. 50 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock. As much as we like it to be true, there are no pills or special creams that you can apply that will magically open up your spinal disc and take the pressure off your nerves. Nope, if you've got back pain, that's pressure on your nerves, right? And you have two choices, surgery or non-invasive spinal decompression. I chose non-surgical spinal decompression at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and it worked for me. I had problems in my neck and my lower back, and they helped me more than I can begin to tell you. They have state-of-the-art facilities, the latest and high-tech equipment to offer the latest non-surgical procedures. Getting better is important, so Dr. Kevin Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are offering half off spinal decompression treatment and half off the KT knee machine, which is sort of like spinal decompression, but it's aimed at the knee, okay? Works the same kind of way. What you get if you're a new patient, for $23, you get an exam, consultation, x-rays if you need them, and your first treatment. I'm Brian Wilson, and I put my stamp of approval on the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Call them today at 615-246-5009. Learn more at painisbad.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Good evening. It is 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've still got plenty of sun, 91 degrees on Music Row, the latest traffic report, and another weather forecast. It's a hot one. It's coming up. The Pentagon says Ukraine can expand their strikes into Russia using U.S. weapons. It's a significant change in the Biden administration's limited permission to strike into Russia. Pentagon Press Secretary General Pat Ryder says that Ukraine can now strike in other areas where Russia might be attacking from within its own borders.
The National Security Advisor put it, in great words here, in the sense that it's not about geography, it's about common sense, right? Being able to fire back if you're fired upon.
Heading now to the Texas Gulf Coast, Alberto, the Atlantic hurricane season's first named storm. It was downgraded to a tropical depression earlier today. It made landfall this morning on Mexico's Gulf Coast, but it has certainly done its share of damage. Here's ABC's Melissa Adon. She's in Corpus Christi, Texas.
It hit landfall there this morning. There is where the Mexican officials say 3 children died, 2 of them electrocuted, 1 drowning. Definitely showing the impacts and how devastating even a tropical storm can be.
Target is the latest company to add artificial intelligence to its retail business. Here's Mike Dubusky to give us more.
Store Companion is a new app that Target employees can download onto their work devices. It's a chatbot that aims to answer common questions like, how do I sign a customer up for a loyalty card? Or how do I restart the cash register when the power goes out? Target says it's using generative AI to do this, a technology that's been under scrutiny for providing inaccurate and unusual answers. The retailer is testing the technology in 400 stores. They plan to roll it out more broadly in the coming weeks. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Amazon, Walmart, and Best Buy, they've all recently launched their own chatbots. And finally, Tennessee announcing the state's unemployment rate fell to an all-time low this past month in May. The state's Department of Labor and Workforce Development announced the unemployment rate dropped to a historic low, setting a record at 3%. The rate decreased by 0.1% between April and May to that 3% and made history as the lowest unemployment rate since the government began tracking that statistic here in Tennessee in 1976. That is the latest news, traffic and weather. There next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
7 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. This is hour number 4 of the drive for this June 20th. Still a bit steamy outside, 92 degrees, but don't worry, it's a moist heat, and it's going to be that way because this is now officially, we're into the first day of summer, partial day of summer, full day is tomorrow. Well, by the way, not only is this the summer solstice, it is also, tomorrow we will have the strawberry moon.
Ooh.
You want to know about the strawberry moon? I was going to save it for later, but I'll tell you about it now. That caught your attention. You like it?
Yeah.
Well, I like strawberries, so I like the moon. It is my responsibility to keep you updated on all the important moon news, right?
That is true, yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow at 9:08 p.m., you will have the full moon called the strawberry moon. Like other full moons, this month's name is based on what is growing this time of year, and it's the name that was given to moons by the old farmer's almanac. And in the late spring, beginning the summer, many berries are ready to be harvested, so they call this the strawberry moon. And it'll be a big one because it comes right next to the summer solstice. I don't know how this all is connected. It's beyond me. But those smart guys over at NASA say that Thursday, tomorrow, will be the day with the longest period of sunlight, coming in at 14 hours, 53 minutes, 42.5 seconds.
Wow.
Not to be exact about it. I mean,
right down to the half second.
Down to the half second, that's right. And NASA says that the June's full moon will be the lowest full moon of 2024. And due to this low position, it will appear bigger than ever. Of something known as the moon illusion. Now, I know about the moon illusion. It's when you view the moon and when it's low on the horizon, the atmosphere of the Earth acts as a magnifying lens. So it appears to be closer than it really is. And that's called the moon illusion. So it'll really look big, but it will be, big, and apparently they say this one is going to be really spectacular. I don't know. July, the buck moon. August is the sturgeon moon. September, shine on harvest moon. October is the hunter's moon. November is the beaver moon.
Ooh.
And December 15th is the cold moon. Have a lot of moons to look forward to.
I didn't know every month. I guess it makes sense. There is a full moon every month. I didn't know they all had a name, though.
Yeah, they all got a name. And every once in a while you get a blue moon. What's that? 2 full moons in the same month.
Yeah, that's right.
It only happens once in a blue moon. They're not really.
Think.
I know. So there you go. That's cool. So we get the longest day of the year tomorrow and a spectacular full moon called the strawberry moon. We have strawberries growing in our backyard.
Really?
And, yeah. Some lovely listeners brought them over. Just showed up at my doorstep. Hey, I brought you some strawberries.
Huh.
And so Cabana wife was all about that. She planted them. They're growing big. Yeah, it looks good. But she's got blueberries she's got strawberries and she's got blackberries.
Oh, yeah.
Got a bunch of blackberries she brought down from Michigan. These are, I don't know, is there a law against that? Maybe I shouldn't have said that. No, that maybe you can't
scratch that from the record.
Yeah, you can't go across international borders with plants, but I don't think it matters if you brought them in from Michigan. I'm not sure.
I'm sure they're the same blackberries we have growing out here anyway.
Yeah, probably the same thing. And I don't eat blackberries. I don't like raspberries. I don't like blackberries.
They're a little seedy.
Yeah,
but they do taste good though.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan. Never have been. I'm sort of okay with blueberries if they're in a good muffin. And strawberries I just love. A little sugar. Yeah. All you got to do is cut up a strawberry, put a little sugar on it, set it in the refrigerator for a half hour, and you've got something that's really delicious.
That'll do it. Throw a little whipped cream in the mix, maybe a piece of pound cake.
Now, you're coming over to the house this weekend.
Yeah.
And we're going to cook steaks out, and I've been told strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Now we're talking.
All right. Let's see. I want to start spending more time over the next, the next few months. I think we need to be really paying close attention to things happening on the world stage. I don't like the way other world powers are acting right now. Right now, you got Putin, who's just gone to North Korea. They signed some kind of security agreement. I don't know what that's all about. Got no idea. Nobody else does either, because they didn't share what was in the security agreement. But it was interesting. And when you have, when Putin goes to North Korea, it's symbolic, because he's saying that we count you as our ally. It's also a time when people can get together and talk about things that they don't want to have picked up by the intelligence services of the United States. I mean, when you go for a face-to-face meeting, they can clear the room and you can say certain things, and nobody knows except the people in that room. You know, if you send, messages or on the internet, or you make a phone call, you do it that way, we're going to pick up on it. But not if you have a face-to-face meeting. We still have no idea what was. The same thing happens when Putin goes to see Xi, or Xi goes to see Putin, and that's been happening a lot too. China and Russia, they're aligning themselves. North Korea, Iran, acting up. There's a story out today about that Reuters is saying that they are moving closer in Iran to having nuclear weapons. Now, that is scary. They sort of poo-pooed it down at the State Department. But, I got that little clip right here. Here we go. Here's what they said at the State Department today.
I'm not going to comment, obviously, on intelligence matters. As you have heard us say before, we do not see indications that Iran is currently undertaking the key activities that would be necessary to produce a testable nuclear device. But, of course, this is something we continue to monitor very closely.
All right, so there's the official word from the State Department. But, there is some reporting out there that Iran is acting up with regard to its nuclear program, which is not in our best interest. So, look, why do I look at it now? Okay, look, if I were another world leader who did not have the United States interest at heart, and I had plans, when would I do it? I would do it when it seemed like the president was at his weakest, and he's been exhibiting nothing but weakness. Well, the power just abhors a vacuum. It does. And when the leader of the free world is not on the world stage with all of his faculties out there standing up for the things that America believes and making sure that we keep our adversaries at bay, then they're going to get adventurous. I think it all started with Afghanistan. I think everybody said, really? You're going to let the Taliban push you around? Well, then you're not going to mind if I invade Ukraine. And he did. And the Chinese have been very active in the South China Sea. I read you a story the other day where you got, they had planes and they had ships and they were surrounding Taiwan. They do this a lot. One of these times, it's not going to be a test. It's going to be the real thing. And then there is this story, which you're not going to hear anywhere. And I'm glad that I found it. I went, wow, this is something. Chinese forces boarded and overwhelmed U.S. allied vessels on Monday in one of the most dramatic escalations in recent times in the South China Sea, as seen in chaotic footage of the incident released on Wednesday and Thursday. The Chinese Coast Guard on Monday confronted Philippine Navy boats that were attempting to deliver supplies to an outpost in the South China Sea on Monday, according to the Associated Press. Footage recently released by the Philippine military depicts Chinese Coast Guard vessels ramming one of the boats and boarding the second one, and destroying and seizing equipment, injuring crew members. They were wielding knives, spears, and axes. Well, I'm glad to know that the Chinese Coast Guard, apparently they have spears. Wielding knives, spears, and axes. We were outnumbered and their weapons were unexpected, but our personnel fought with everything they had, said General Romeo Brawner Jr., Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, in a statement on Thursday. Only pirates do this. Only pirates board, steal, and destroy ships, equipment, and belongings. The incident occurred at the Second Thomas Shoal, which is a flashpoint for conflict between the Philippines and China in the South China Sea, per the Associated Press. The Chinese Coast Guard approached two Filipino boats attempting to restock goods at a military outpost at the reef. See, the Chinese are getting very adventurous and very bold in the South China Sea. It's been said by people smarter than me that the next world war will start in the South China Sea or in the Taiwan Straits. And if you're China and you've been planning and you've been testing and you've been probing, how will the Taiwanese respond? How will the American military respond when we surround the island of Taiwan? Right? And then about the same time that they're doing all that, Russia's running nuclear submarines right off the coast of Florida. So we're watching the Russians over in Florida. We're watching the Chinese in the South China Sea. Iran is making nuclear weapons, or apparently getting closer to it. And the North Koreans are having secret meetings with Putin. Why should we be afraid at all, ladies and gentlemen? It's nothing to think about, probably. But I think that this is what happens when you have a world leader who is weak. And and the last thing, I swear to you, the last thing Biden wants to do is get into some kind of conflict right before the election. But I think that he's going to be tested once again, and I don't think he's up to the task. I'm incredibly nervous about what the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranians and the North Koreans all might be up to. And by the way, add to that the fact that we've got tens of thousands of military-age male Chinese citizens who are coming across the southern border and infiltrating themselves into America. We got people from Tajikistan who are coming across. We got all kinds of people coming across the border, and they're just infiltrating themselves. If you're an adversary of the United States and you're not taking advantage of the chaos on the border, you're pretty dumb. They're doing it. We don't know anything about the 2 million known and unknown gotaways who've come into this country who have never been vetted by we don't know who they are. We don't know where they came from. We don't know what they're up to. And I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. I don't like to be a nervous Nelly, but you talk about when you hear people like Christopher Wray and others saying the signs are blinking red. This is, I think, what we're talking about. So this is why going forward, I'm going to be spending a lot more time talking about things that mostly they tell you it's talk radio death, to talk about, foreign relations and foreign affairs and foreign matters. But Americans, they sort of tune out to that kind of stuff, by and large. But I feel the need to do it, and I think you need to pay attention. Nobody is paying enough attention to the things that are going on around the world right now. That should be very concerning. I hope our military is. I hope that they haven't gotten so woke that they're not paying attention to things like, what the Chinese are up to in the South China Sea and what's going on with the Russians floating submarines just a few miles off the coast of Florida. Seriously. And what are the Cubans up to right now? Quite frankly, I'm a little worried about them. So, again, we're going to spend some time talking about this kind of stuff in the days ahead, and I hope that you will invest with me in the time it takes to learn about this stuff, because I'm telling you, there are good reasons, I think, for Americans to be concerned about what is happening outside the borders of America, as well as what's happening inside the borders of America. It's 20 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock. In the market for a pole barn? Hey, you got to talk to the Stoltzko brothers, two guys that can help you out. They are known for exceptional quality, craftsmanship, and fair prices. They can build a pole barn to your specifications with your needs in mind. That's the Stoltzko difference. Now, you can use pole barns for all kinds of things. It can function as a classic tool and work barn, a garage, or even a place to live. Flexibility is key. They combine the classic post-frame barn look with the reliability of modern materials and techniques to give you a finished barn that will stand the test of time. They don't scrimp on quality. They don't cut on corners. They believe their customers deserve only the best. If you'll do me just this one favor, I really would appreciate it. Go to their website, Stoltzko.com. I'll spell it for you, Stoltzco, Stoltzco.com. Take a look at the things they have done for other customers, and you're going to get it. You're going to say, wow, that is something I could use. Then you want to call them, 615-622-5992. 615-622-5992. Stoltzko, where quality workmanship, great customer service is affordable. Learn more at Stoltzco.com. That's Stoltzco.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, They believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Another close call involving a Southwest Airlines flight. And we'll have today's closing money news. That's coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 24 minutes, almost 25 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. Brian Wilson here all the way till 7 o'clock before we turn it over to Mark Levin after the news. I think this, again, I love it when I get to break important station news. Well, that was very sad. Let's try that again. This just in, there's going to be a big debate party in Murfreesboro on the 27th. That's right, 7 days from today, 1 week from today, we will be at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro, and we're going to watch the presidential debate together. That's right, Hop Springs, Dan, Chris, Matt, and me. I'm Brian at Hop Springs in Murfreesboro. I'll start there at 3 o'clock with the drive, and then we'll watch Trump take on Biden in the first presidential debate. This is going to be the one that everybody is watching. And so, you know, we've been to this location before. It's a good location, had a great turnout, Hop Springs, and we're going to be there again. So you'll be able to watch the debate. We'll be doing a live broadcast there starting at 3. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a fun evening. So plan on coming out and spending time with us. Details at 997WTN.com. I'm mentioning it a lot because, well, we got exactly 1 week to get this together. So we want to make sure everybody knows about it. But the word came out officially this afternoon that it's on. And I'm telling you, that debate's going to be a humdinger. This is really, I think, this could determine whether Joe Biden is the nominee or not. I really believe that. I absolutely do. The United States has redirected air defense missiles to Ukraine. So there are 3 Patriot batteries there that we gave to the folks in Ukraine and taught them how to run the darn things. And what has happened in this meeting at the G7 was President Biden suggested that air defense systems from other countries were going to have to be volunteered. So some of the G7 members and some of the EU members have said they will send over their Patriot battery systems as well. This is, of course, a defensive weapon. So let's see. Among the nations that had contracts to buy interceptors and will be put on hold are South Korea, the UAE, and those embassies did not respond to requests by the folks at the Wall Street Journal today. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said his country urgently needs at least 7 more Patriot batteries, which are used to launch interceptors. The U.S. said last week it would send Ukraine an additional Patriot battles. I give them 4 against the Russian attacks, seeking other systems from allies. At least 3 other Patriot batteries currently in Ukraine. On Thursday, Romania said it would send a Patriot system. This is crucial. It will bolster our air shield and help us better protect our people as well. Patriot batteries, which have helped protect Ukrainian troops and civilian assets over recent months, including those around Kyiv, include radar launchers and interceptor systems. Each can fire dozens of interceptors in a single engagement to attack planes, missiles, or rockets. NASAMS, a short to medium-range air defense system, can launch 72 interceptors at one time. So there you go. And it says basically that American allies and partners who have contracts will face delays as Ukraine is going to be the priority of all of that. Another, again, foreign affairs story, but it really is about government waste and abuse here in America. A $230 million temporary pier constructed by the U.S. military under orders of Joe Biden for expediting humanitarian aid to Gaza has failed its purpose, according to aid organizers. The structure, erected rapidly to alleviate supply shortages in the territory without technically requiring American military boots on the ground, is now expected to cease operations far earlier than planned. Since its installation a month ago, the pier has functioned for only approximately 10 days. The remaining time has been spent on repairs following damage from rough seas or has been inactive due to security concerns and preventive detachment to avoid further harm. These issues have frequently limited its capacity to serve its humanitarian role. So they spent $230 million to build a pier, a floating pier, just off the shore of Gaza because they wanted to provide humanitarian aid. And out of the time, and all that money, when you do something on a quick measure, when you say, I need this quick, guess what? The cost of that thing goes up exponentially. Because if we need something fast, it's going to cost you more money. So they spent $230 million on a floating pier. They've used it for 10 days, and now apparently they realize this is not going to work at all. Who could have seen that coming? Anyone? Raise your hand. Could you see that coming? Yeah, I thought it was a bad idea, too. It's 30 minutes past the hour. Time for the news.
Good evening. It is 6:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We've still got plenty of sunshine on this first day of summer. Yes, summer arrived here about an hour and a half ago. 91 degrees on Music Row. We've got a full forecast and traffic on the way. The FAA investigating after a Southwest Airlines plane dropped unusually close to the ground before reaching an airport. Alex Stone has details.
It was just after midnight on Thursday morning when Southwest Flight 4069 dropped only 525 feet above the ground as it was making its approach into Oklahoma City. The plane flew over a high school at 625 feet. The high school is 9 miles away from the airport. Air traffic controllers asked the pilots if they were doing okay because low altitude alarms were going off. The plane pulled up, went around, and landed safely a few minutes later.
Let's turn now to the closing money news with Daria Albinger.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. It was a mixed bag for the markets. The Dow had its best day in weeks, closing up 300 points. The S&P and the Nasdaq both hit records early on and tumbled toward the close. The S&P fell 14, the Nasdaq gave up 141. Chip maker Nvidia fell 2.4%, ending an 8-week winning streak. A mixed set of economic reports also weighing on the markets. Government data showing residential housing construction dropped to its lowest level in 4 years in May. Separate data shows home builders are losing confidence in the housing market. And the number of U.S. workers filing for unemployment benefits eased last week, but not by as much as economists had expected. Amazon is ditching the plastic air pillows it used to fill space in North American packages. Instead, it's opting for recycled paper filling. And the Supreme Court has upheld a Trump-era tax on foreign income. New York Governor Kathy Hochul signs a bill allowing parents to block their children from getting social media posts suggested by algorithms.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
All right, it is the first day of summer, and if you're having trouble with your air conditioning, who are you going to call? You're going to call the folks at Busy Bee HVAC and Plumbing, right? They're going to come right out there, buzz right over to your hive, and get you back up and running. And now, listen, I'll tell you, if you find yourself in a situation where you need to replace your system, I mean, after all, it's, maybe they can fix it, and maybe, but maybe they'll give you all the options. Maybe it's time to change out that system, and they got great options for you. For example, if you need to do a big HVAC replacement, up to 12 months, no interest, no payments with approved credit. There you go for 12 months, up to 15 months if you have a plumbing project you need to do. Air conditioning, of course, is a big thing right now, and a lot of people are finding that air conditioning is just not getting it done. If you call right now, the number that we always call, 615-775-7833, they will waive the $89 dispatch fee this month with repair work. They'll also give you 10% off all indoor air quality products, and they've got a whole bunch of them. If you have a plumbing problem right now, big special, $500 off their select tankless water heater, $500 off upright Essency water heaters, and 15% off a whole home drain repipe. Your repair plumbing service, they can send a video camera down your drain to find out what's causing things not to flow properly. And that's only $99, $79 for a water heater flush. The folks at Busy Bee, heating, cooling, and your plumbing people, they're the folks, your official Rude Pro partner. For satisfaction guaranteed, call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is 775-7833, online at busybeehvac.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
It is 38 minutes now past the hour. I'm here all the way till 7 o'clock, so we got about another 22 minutes together before we do the news, and then Mark Levin will be here. He's here. He'll be here, I promise. All right, this is the time of day where I got a bunch of little odds and ends that I haven't been able to get into the show, and really, honestly, they don't relate one to the other. There's no segue here. There's no blend of stories. It's sort of jarring, but sometimes we just squish them all together like this. That's right. So here we go. U.S. military airstrike kills senior ISIS official. U.S. military killed a senior ISIS official back on June 16th in Syria. Central Command announced today on Twitter. The man's name is, I'm going to try this, Usama Jamal Muhammad Ibrahim al-Janabi. He's got more names than Cabana Wife. A senior ISIS official and a facilitator, they said. His death will disrupt ISIS's ability to resource and conduct terror strikes. So now we've known about the strike. They generally don't like to come out and make an official announcement until they are able to confirm the death. And they apparently were able to confirm the death. The presence of ISIS militants across Somalia is estimated to be between 100 and 200 fighters, a senior defense official told the outlet. Defense experts, however, concerned about the potential threat of ISIS growth across the region. Story number 2. Huge percentage of EV owners want to go back to normal cars. This, according to the Daily Caller. Nearly half of American electric vehicle owners want to buy an internal combustion engine model the next time they buy a car, according to a new study from McKinsey & Company, a leading consultant firm. Approximately 46% of Americans who own an EV want to go back to a standard vehicle for their next purchase, citing issues like inadequate charging infrastructure and affordability, according to McKinsey's study, which was obtained and reviewed by the Daily Caller Foundation. The study further finds that the Biden administration's EV push is struggling to land with American consumers after 46% of respondents indicated they are unlikely or very unlikely to purchase another EV in a June poll conducted by the Associated Press and the University of Chicago's Energy Policy Institute. Moreover, 58% of Americans are likely to keep their current cars for longer, 48% likely to postpone a possible switch to EVs, McKinsey's study found. Consumers concerned about EV charging infrastructure are notable given the slow rollout of the Biden administration's $7.5 billion public EV charging program, which has so far led to the construction of only a handful of chargers in nearly 3 years. I forget how many billions, 7.5 billions. I think we're up to 7 or 8. So about $1 billion a charger so far.
That's a bargain.
Yeah. The Biden administration wants all EVs to make up 50% of a new car sales by 2030. Next story. I need a drink of water. There we go. I hate it when that happens. Went all over Klimt there for a moment. Okay, I'm going to make it. Third story. Banks, laws, and consulting firms are watering down their diversity recruiting programs. Minority students worry about the impact of their job searches. PricewaterhouseCoopers and J.P. Morgan Chase are among those that recently removed or altered descriptions of their programs for underrepresented students. The shift came after an anti-woke movement took aim at the U.S. companies and a Supreme Court decision overturned affirmative action in college admissions. Employers' embrace of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives peaked in 2021. That was after the death of George Floyd and at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement a year earlier. In the years since, access to diversity programs has been slowly declining, a Glassdoor study found in April. Companies have made the changes quietly, often by playing down terminology such as DEI and opening up programs once reserved for diverse applicants to everyone. Many stopped referencing their DEI programs in annual reports altogether, the Wall Street Journal has reported. Minority students are concerned about what cutbacks mean for their future in an already tight job market. Okay, well, you know what? This is good, I think. Honestly, I think what these companies have found is that we tried it and it didn't really work for us. When you start giving people promotions or giving them opportunity because of the color of their skin rather than the merit that they bring to the potential job, when you start hiring people based not on merit but on skin color, then I think you get into a real problem and you find out, well, the people that you're hiring aren't able to do the job as well. You want the best, you want the brightest. If you want to succeed, you need to be good at what you do. And so the students now are getting a fairer crack at the things, but minority students who wanted a leg up without having put in the work or the effort, or perhaps not being as good, are not going to get that opportunity. I'm not saying they can't be as good. I'm saying that those that weren't very good were getting opportunities that perhaps they shouldn't have gotten. I mean, it's their company. They can do what they want to. But if I was running a company and I wanted to make sure that I was hiring good people, I would hire based on merit. I would hire based on grade point average. I would hire on a lot of different things, but I wouldn't hire simply because, well, we need a Hispanic in here. We need to have more black people. Okay, that's fine. If they're qualified, that's great. But you don't just automatically give it to people simply because they happen to have the right color skin for your DEI programs. Story number 4. I may be short of stories. I may not have enough stories. I don't know. What am I going to do if I get to the end here and I've got time left and we've squished and squished and it is not time for me to stop talking.
I have to talk about the moon again.
We have to do that, I'm sure. Eating cheese. Well, I can go for a long time on this topic. Eating cheese contributes to healthy aging. Behold the power of cheese. Remember those commercials?
Uh-huh.
I love those commercials so much. Behold the power of cheese. Bring on the Gouda. Eating cheese appears to boost mental well-being. Yes, of course. Who doesn't love cheese? Which promotes better health and longevity. A study published in the journal Nature, Human Behavior, revealed that participating in activities that boost mental health, which include consuming a lot of cheese. You know what they're doing? I'm having to drink a little water. I'm sorry. My neighbor is harvesting his hay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff in the air.
That'll do it.
All right. So there we go. Using 33 factors that link mental health with physical aging, the researchers found that while eating cheese did not directly increase longevity, the consumption of cheese and fruit was high on the list of contributing factors to healthy aging. The large was led by a team of researchers from the Shanghai Jiao Tong University School of Medicine. Wow. Found the mental well-being was the most important factor in healthy aging, and people who ate cheese were happy.
Okay.
And this according to the New York Post. The researchers compared scores on the study subjects' outlook on life as well as their health-related behaviors. They found that poor mental health was linked to the same behavior and diseases that shorten lifespan. They also found that people who reported the healthiest mental health and resilience from stress ate the most cheese. Cheese makes you happy, makes you resilient. To achieve healthy aging, it's imperative to bridge the gap between health, quality, and lifespan, the authors wrote. According to Newsmax.com, mental well-being, which encompasses mental, psychological, and social well-being, correlates to the multitudinous lifestyle of behaviors and morbidities and underpins healthy aging. What does that mean? According to Newsweek, the researchers analyzed the genetic data of 8 sets of population, ranging from 800,000 to 2.3 million. Big study. They found that people with the healthiest mental states enjoyed greater resilience, and they also ate a lot of cheese.
They probably also had a fiber supplement in their diet as well.
I suppose they did. Woo. That could be the other thing. Yeah, you may be right about that. Among the factors that prompted feelings of well-being were eating foods like cheese and fruit, habits such as smoking, a sedentary lifestyle, watching too much television were associated with poorer feelings of well-being. Most of the mediators were well-established risk factors with aging-related outcomes. Our finding extended their roles in linking mental well-being to healthy aging. And there you go. Cheese. So next time people say, where's the cheese? Eat some cheese. And you say, no, I can't eat too much cheese. It's not good for you. Apparently, no. You need to eat cheese so you can be happy. And if you're happy, you'll live longer.
It makes me happy when I eat some cheese. I love a good cheese.
I love cheese. Well, the Cabana wife, she's the queen of charcuterie.
Mm-hmm.
And charcuterie is heavily reliant upon cheese. So we've always got a lot of cheese around our house. Yep. I love cheese. I love cheese.
The more pungent, the better.
You really like the strong
stuff.
I
like that stuff, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I like that funky feet-smelling stuff.
I like soft cheese. I don't like hard cheese. And this is, I think, really a very sad thing because over the years we have seen this guy do some amazing acting. He's really, I think, an actor's actor. And when you see him, you never know exactly you sort of know what you're going to get, but you always get just a different take on it. And there's not anything he couldn't do. I'm talking, of course, about Donald Sutherland, who died today at the age of 88. His son Kiefer confirmed this on social media. I think he first came onto the scene in a big way with the movie MASH. He was not in the TV version of it, but he was in the movie version of it. And he was, in movies, time and memoriam. He was in movie after movie after movie. I think his last big movie was The Hunger Games, in which, when I saw him, I thought, yeah, he looks good. He's getting up into his 80s. With a heavy heart, I tell you that my father, Donald Sutherland, has passed away, according to Kiefer on Instagram. I personally think one of the most important actors in the history of film. He never daunted by a role, good, bad, or ugly. He loved what he did. He loved what he did what he loved, and no one can ever ask for more than that. It was a life well lived. I remember him, and his voice, he's very distinctive, Oh,
absolutely.
I mean, he's a very distinctive actor, had a very distinctive presence. But, I mean, I do think he was able to take on just about any role in the world you could throw at him and handle it well.
Yep, very good.
So, rest in peace, Donald Sutherland, dead at the age of 88. It's 50 minutes now past the hour. All right, if you're ready to grill out with some steaks and you like the steaks over at Legend Steakhouse, and who wouldn't? I love them. Well, you can enjoy those same flavors right at home off your very own grill. Just take a walk down your local grocery store aisle, places like Walmart and Kroger, and look for Johnny Fleeman's very own brand. Johnny Fleeman's marinated proprietary blend will give your chickens, just steak or chops, a flavor that will hit a home run with family and friends. It's low in sodium, about a third of the other brands, so you don't have to worry about over-marinating. Also, don't forget his honey mustard salad dressing. It can be used as a salad dressing or a dipping sauce for your favorite chicken fingers, fresh cut veggies, or chips. A recipe used in this restaurant for over 35 years. If your favorite grocer isn't stocking Johnny Fleeman products, ask them to do so. For more information, go visit johnnyfleeman.com. That's johnnyfleeman.com. Goes without saying, for those times when you want someone else to do the cooking, they'll always be glad to see you at your nearest Legend Steakhouse for lunch or for dinner.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.